and welcome to my channel. Welcome to another tarot reading from me. So today's topic, which was chosen by popular demand according to a community post on my channel, is going to be on what are your future spouse's first impressions of you. And these are your options. As usual, I want to mention that I have chosen these crystals intuitively. I have asked Spirit which crystals should I choose for my collection for this particular topic. And these are the crystals that stood out to me in this particular order. And first pile, we have this onyx crystal. Okay, not focusing. All right. Sort of focusing. So pile number one, this is your crystal. Pile number two, you have this crystal. I actually forgot what it's called. This is how long it has been since I did a reading. Oh my gosh. I keep thinking it's moonstone, but I'm not 100% sure. So yeah, I'm just going to call it moonstone. But if you know what it actually... What, moonstone or labradorite, actually, now that I think about it. I don't remember, honestly. Actually, I think it's more likely to be labradorite, so I'm going to call it labradorite. So anyway, pile number two, this is your crystal. Doesn't really matter what you call it, of course. The idea is whether you're attracted to the vibe. And pile number three, you have this tiger's eye crystal. Okay. Pile number, so these are your options. Okay, is this sitting in a good position? Sort of. Pile number one, number two, number three, these are your options. Okay, you can pause the video if you need more time to decide. As usual, my recommendation is that you take some moments to relax, meditate upon the question. You can also address it to a higher power, your spirit guides, God, your guardian angel, whoever you believe in. And keep your eyes closed a few moments, take deep breaths, exhale longer than you inhale. That will help center you and calm you down. And then once you have relaxed a little bit, open your eyes and choose the first pile that stands out to you intuitively without overthinking it. And of course, before I sign off, I want to remind you to please subscribe to my channel if you haven't done so already. It's the easiest way to support me and it's free. And also consider clicking on the notifications bell to see when I will post a new video. All right, I will see you at your reading. Welcome. This is the card selection phase for each of the three crystals. So you can skip through this directly to picking your pile with a card and a crystal because I will be adding timestamps. So let's see. Pile, Spirit, tell me about pile number one. What will be their future spouse's first impression of them? Oh, I haven't seen that card in a while. Nice. Spirit, tell me about pile number two. The people who chose the labradorite crystal. What will be their future spouse's first impression of them? Oh, nice. Gosh, haven't seen these cards in a while. I love them. I don't mean like I mean these particular cards because I have used this deck before, but gosh, it's giving me deja vu or something. Not deja vu, but like nostalgia. Anyway, Spirit, tell me about the third pile, the people who chose the tiger's eye crystal. What will be their future spouse's first impression of them? Okay, nice. All of these are very nice. So let me zoom in. All right, so this is for those of you who want to choose with a card as well as a crystal. Pile number one, you have this card over here and or this black onyx crystal. Pile number two, you have this card over here and or this labradorite crystal. Pile number three, you have this card over here and or this tiger's eye crystal. All right. You can, so these are your options. What is the way? I think this is the best way to display it. So these are your options for those of you who want to choose with cards and crystals. Like I said, pile number one, number two, number three. And you can pause the video if you need more time to decide. My recommendation is, as usual, to keep your eyes closed for a few moments, take some deep breaths, exhale longer than you inhale. My recommendation is you take an inhale for 7 seconds, hold your breath for 4 seconds, and then exhale for 8 seconds. And do this 10 times at least. Usually that's enough for your mind to settle. And of course, the whole time you should focus on your breath. That will help kind of clear your mind a little bit. And then once you have done that, you can focus on the question and open your eyes and choose the first pile that stands out to you intuitively without overthinking it. And if you feel drawn to more than one, of course, you can watch 2 or even all 3 of them and just take whichever messages resonate. Before I sign off, I want to remind you once again to please subscribe to my channel. Click on the notifications bell if you want to be notified when I post a new video. And of course, feel free to comment in the comment section with how you like this reading, any feedback you would like to share, as long as it's respectful, of course. And of course, if you have any other suggestions for future topics that I would, or that you would, like to see on my channel, I will take them into account. I might include them in future polls on my channel so that you can vote on which topic you would like to see. All right, thank you for listening, and I will see you at your pile. Welcome, pile number 1. This is your reading if you have chosen this card over here that says Red Garden with the number 8. I really love this card. Love it. Haven't seen it in a while. And or this Black Onyx. Whenever I get this like Black Onyx crystal, I always get some Scorpio vibes, so I'm curious. And also when I see the jungle, I think of Ardra, but again, to be continued. Potentially Mrigashira as well. Oh, and the number 8, actually, already right off the bat, is some Scorpio energy. But again, I'm going to hold that thought. Because Scorpio is the 8th sign of the zodiac. And also because, well, it corresponds to the 8th house. Anyway, let me start with a tarot card. Spirit, tell me about pile number 1. How will their future spouse, what first impressions will pile number 1's future spouse have of them? Ooh. Ooh. Okay. So we have 9 of Pentacles, we have 10 of Pentacles, we have 2 of Pentacles, we have the Tower, we have 3 of Pentacles. All right, let's get some more. Spirit, tell me about pile number 1. What will their future spouse's first impressions of them be? There's so much Ardra in here already. Ooh, we have 2 of them. They want to come out at the same time. Okay. So we have 3 of Pentacles. We have 6 of Swords. I'm going to push them a little bit further. Okay, 6 of Swords. We have the Tower for the second time. We have the 10 of Wands. We have the Moon. And we have the 7 of Swords and the 7 of Cups, right? Came out together underneath the Knight of Cups. So, yeah. Let me get some Oracle cards. Spirit, tell me about pile number 1. What will their future spouse's first impression of them be? 16 Karma. Oh, wow. This is really going hand in hand with a lot of energies that already came through the tarot cards. But again, I'm going to get into it in a little bit. Spirit, tell me about pile number 1. What will their future spouse's first impressions of them be? Ooh, we have Ram, Perseverance. You have many gifts. No problem can withstand the power of your mind. With patience, you can reach your mountaintop. Never give up, and good luck will follow. Already there are repeated themes, repeated messages, and they're coming out very strongly and consistently. So I'm picking up, because the number 7 came out a lot of the times, all right, we have the Tower coming out twice, which also boils down to a 7 in numerology. In fact, it's the same number, 16. Now, it could just be that the number 16 is important for you personally. Maybe you're born on the 16th, or you're born on a date, or yeah, a date that boils down to a number 7, like again the 25th, the 7th of the month, or something like that. Or again, the number 7 could be connected to your numerological profile. Like you could be a life path number 7, or the number 7 could show up a lot of times in your numerological profile. But in and of itself doesn't have to be the case. The number 7 connects to K2 energy. It connects to solitude and kind of like a mad genius energy. So right off the bat, I'm getting K2 or South Node energy coming through very strongly. And a lot of Mars as well, and a lot of Scorpio. Like I said, right up from the beginning, for people who watch the card selection, process from the beginning, right off the bat, I saw this. And then also the tower coming out through twice. And I saw the Onyx, and I said Scorpio, heavy Scorpio energy, and potentially heavy Ardra energy, because the tower is connected to destruction. And Ardra Nakshatra is connected to Kali or Durga, I think, or both of them, who are goddesses that are connected to destruction. I think Durga is more like Mars. Kali is more about destruction, purely destruction. Potentially, this could also show placements in Purva Bhadrapada Nakshatra, which is also in a more watered down way connected to destruction as well. But these are just some first impressions. Also, I'm going to read the description for this card from the booklet. Number 8, The Red Garden. Let me see the booklet. What do we have here? Gratitude, pleasure, happiness. On this card, we see a woman strolling through a garden full of flowers. The sky glows with pink petals, and the ground has turned a luminescent blue. The woman finds great peace in being one with nature. The flowers have become part of her body, and a parrot feels at home on her shoulder. During her walk down the path of life, she keeps happiness and gratitude in her heart. She notices the simple pleasure of life and is thankful for all nature has given her. Very nice. So I still stand by potentially, again, these nakshatras that are connected to nature. So Ardra, Mrigashira to some extent. These are probably the two that are most connected to forests. Kritika as well could be a position. And speaking of Kritika, there is also like this strong connection to Taurus as an energy, or Venus, right? There's this Mother Earthy energy, this kind of a solid, stable, but yet very firm and potentially tough energy coming off from you. This is what I'm getting as their very first impression, all right? But of course, I'm going to see more nuances as I progress through the reading. Also, I have to say, before I forget, with this Karma card with the number 16, I would not be surprised. Oh my God, I don't know what is wrong with me today. But again, clearly you can tell I have not recorded a video in a long time because I forgot how to speak. And also, I do not speak English on a regular basis. So, and yeah, the Karma card speaks of this deja vu feeling. I wouldn't be surprised, right? So I wouldn't be surprised if this person would have this like strong feeling of familiarity around you, like almost like this feeling like, do I know you from somewhere? Or you could have the same feeling about them. That could be a thing, or it could be an and or, so it could be this, or again, it could be on a more down-to-earth plane, not necessarily that they have some kind of metaphysical feeling of, oh, I know you from somewhere. It could just be a feeling of comfort, like you make them feel comfortable, right? You make them feel safe. So this is what it makes me think of. And I have to say, again, not strictly when it comes to first impressions, but the karma message can potentially suggest that this is a karmic connection, in the sense that this is, again, coming from, most of you know that I also have an astrology channel, and again, I will be linking it in the video description. It's called Martine. But since I come from the astrology background, in astrology, there are certain placements that show, for instance, that a relationship is somehow preordained. There's the idea that some people have a specific contract with people that they have unfinished business with. And there are placements that you can see in multiple areas of the horoscope and divisional charts that tend to point to that direction. And also over the years, as a parenthesis, when I've done readings for people who have those placements, they have told me that, yeah, when I saw my husband for the first time, I knew that this was going to be my husband. There was this strong feeling of, yes, this is my person, So it could be something like that. Or at the very least, there's another possibility, and this is not always a situation where, you know, people have a fated relationship, but you could have South Node contacts in synastry with this person. Whenever one person's South Node, or K2, as it's called in Vedic, has especially a conjunction to someone else's planet or their ascendant, there will be most likely a situation where you had a past life connection with this person. Okay, so enough with the astrology parenthesis. Then we have the Nine of Pentacles, and we have the Three of Pentacles. So this makes me feel like at the beginning, this could also give hints, by the way, with respect to how you will kind of see this person for the first time, because Nine of Pentacles and Three of Pentacles, again, there's a pentacle energy. There is earth energy here. All right. So this does also confirm what I said initially, that you could have, like, for instance, strong Venus in your horoscope, a lot of placements in earth signs, Taurus, Virgo, Capricorn. I would say Venus came through very strongly, especially with this garden energy. But, and also this Ram Perseverance also carried some kind of, you know, Capricorn energy as well. But the Nine of Pentacles, again, with the Three of Pentacles, shows this kind of professional environment. So this could be that the first time you see this person, the first time they see you, again, because it's their first impression. So maybe you won't see them, but they will see you first. That could be a possibility. The first time they see you, it could be in some kind of a professional setting. So they see you working, right? They see, especially with that Three of Pentacles, okay, if it had just been the Nine of Pentacles, I would not necessarily think, oh, work environment, profession. But Three of Pentacles definitely shows that they see you working towards something, right? There's also this possibility that when they see you for the first time, they know that you're working towards something that you're not yet 100%, like, you're not an expert at. So again, the Three of Pentacles is kind of rookie energy. It's potentially a student energy. So this could be that the first time they see you is in an environment where they know that you're a trainee, that you are learning the ropes, right? That you are basically preparing for your professional life. So this is something that I'm getting off right off the bat. But at the same time, they see you, so with that Nine of Pentacles, they see you as a very together person. So again, this really confirms the energies that I mentioned initially, that Mars, that Aries/Taurus energy, that earth energy. They see you as a very solid person with that Nine of Pentacles, like someone who knows where they're going, knows what they're doing. They see you as pretty self-assured, pretty autonomous as well. Like, Nine of Pentacles is an energy of abundance, okay? They could also think that you are well off. That is definitely a possibility because, again, abundance. But at the very least, you know, as a vibe, they see you as a pretty together person, someone who, you know, in a way, like, best case scenario, they could see you as someone who has everything figured out, you know, like, you don't really need much from a lot of people. But at the same time, they see that you are hard at work, you're hardworking. Yeah, so you're someone who is really intent on developing yourself. That's something that they see. Then we have the Ten of Pentacles, again, repeated theme that there's something very professional, okay? So they see you as someone who is ambitious professionally. Again, we have the repeated Saturn energy here because the number 10, Ten of Pentacles especially, is connected to Saturn energy because Saturn is the 10th, Capricorn is the 10th sign and it's ruled by Saturn. Of course, Saturn also rules Aquarius in Vedic astrology together with Rahu, or the North Node of the moon. But I'm going to hold that thought, see if more of that comes through. But so far, there is definitely a lot of earth energy, a lot of Capricorn so far. So they see you as someone who's ambitious for sure. And the Six of Swords underneath the Ten of Pentacles tells me that they see you as someone who's very determined to improve your circumstances. So they see you as someone who is moving from a rough position in life, or someone who has recently been moving from a rough position. At the very least, in general, what could be said is that they see you as determined to change your life circumstances, okay? And yeah, so a lot of earth means that they definitely also potentially see you as materialistic. Not in the sense that, you know, maybe you're shallow, not like in Madonna's Material Girl sort of vibe, but in the sense that you're pragmatic, you know, like they see you as someone who is pretty no nonsense. I mean, if I'm looking at these cards here, except for the Seven of Cups right at the end, you know, and this is coming right at the end, which is actually the position that is least about you. But I'm gonna get to that. Yeah, but except for the Knight of Cups here, okay, we have a little bit of Moon, but we don't have Cups energy, really. You know, not really, except for the very end, which is more about the outcome, but I'm gonna get to that, like I said, right? So when it comes to like your overall vibe, I'm not seeing a lot of emotional stuff. Like, I don't think this person thinks that you're particularly romantic necessarily. I don't think they see you as like a fairy something, I don't know, like Tinkerbell, right? So I don't think they perceive you to be ethereal necessarily, but again, I'm going to see more about that with the astrological notes, because to be fair, Ketu can have this otherworldliness about it, but if we don't have the ethereal aspect, it could be more like they just see you as unusual, like someone who's introverted, keeps to yourself. But again, I'm gonna hold that thought. We have the Two of Pentacles and we have the Tower. I'm gonna pull some clarifications. I was gonna say recommendations. You see what I mean? I am going through university and I'm stressed, and my brain, yeah. Even though I do tarot on a regular basis for myself to see how I'm gonna do in exams and shit. Haven't done a recording in a while. That's why I'm a bit rusty. Anyway, clarify the Tower for me. Please clarify the Tower. Ooh, Page of Wands. Okay, please clarify the Two of Pentacles. Five of Cups. Ooh. So this is them and their impression of you. And what they think here. So we have Two of Pentacles. We have the Five of Cups. I think this is about what they feel might be an obstacle in their way to approach you. Number one. Or again, it could be your obstacles, things that are getting in your way in general. So what we have with the Two of Pentacles, right off the bat, a very clear message of busyness, okay? So this could be that they see you as a very busy person. This could be that they are a very busy person, or both of you are very busy. And so they think that you are the kind of person that is not going to have time for them, right? Or that if they approach you, you won't even notice them because you're so busy doing your own thing. On the other hand, it could be that they're busy, right? Or again, another scenario could be that both of you are busy, right? So they see that both of you are working towards something, and they're thinking like, how would their schedules even work? Okay. Now your and their schedules, like how would they coordinate, right? But since this is about very first impressions, I would tend to think this is more about how they perceive you strictly, unless they're, again, this is a general reading, so that's why I'm looking at potential interpretations. Maybe with some cases, you know, they will think of you as marriage material from the first, you know, from the get-go, especially with that Ten of Pentacles, I have to say, because, you know, Ten of Pentacles is someone you want to build a legacy with to some extent. Should have said that, but I'm mentioning it now. Yeah, it could just be that from the beginning they think, oh, this might be someone who might be my future spouse, but they think, oh, they seem busy, I'm busy, so I don't know how is this going to work, you know, this is going to be hard. But in some cases, at the very least, even if they don't think, oh, this is the person I'm going to marry right off the bat, they're just going to see you as someone who's busy. And also with that Five of Cups, they see you as someone who is kind of driven by FOMO and YOLO, you know, like you're someone who wants to make the most of every opportunity because you don't want to have regrets, right? So they definitely see you as someone who is very proactive and, again, kind of pragmatic pretty much. Page of Wands and the Tower is interesting, especially in this context. Kind of makes me think that, again, there are two potential ways to interpret this, and it could be both of them at the same time. So one of them, especially with the Tower coming out twice, but it's coming out in opposition and it's coming in the past. So one way, again, depending on how this person, again, this is first impression, so I'm not going to read too much into what they know about you. But the very first impression could be that they see you as someone who has been through a lot of tough experiences. Like they kind of, again, not necessarily in the sense that they see you as like rough and stuff. Like, I don't know, like that they see you as a little rough around the edges. Now, maybe you are a little rough around the edges, you should know. So it could be that this person perceives that right off the bat. They can sense the fact that you're someone who has been through some tough experiences in life. Because Tower is about destruction. It's about collapse. It's about things that, you know, cause ego death, if you will, if you want to get spiritual. This is why when I see Tower, I think Ardra Purva Bhadrapada as well. But again, I'm going to hold that thought. But this person, yeah, is going to see you as pretty tough and someone who has been through rough energies, rough experiences. And they see you as someone who is potentially determined to rebuild yourself, right? But again, they see these things as kind of an obstacle as well, in the sense that they see you as someone who is maybe recovering from something. Like this could even be, again, from a purely psychological perspective. Like maybe they can sense that you, for instance, maybe are a little bit sad, or you have some anger issues, or maybe they sense that you're trying to build your self-esteem and your confidence, right? So they kind of sense that there is, you know, that there's a lot going on with you, basically. That's the general vibe. Then we have the Tower with the Ten of Wands in the past, which is basically just, you know, it's reaffirming this. And in fact, I took it into account when I explained all the different things previously. Because the Tower, especially with the Ten of Wands again in the past, this really shows that you have had to build yourself from the ground up. I'm getting potential Jieshta placements as well, because Jieshta is the energy of the self-made person, right? Someone who has made it through their own efforts to a large extent. So I think this person sees you, again, as someone who has really had to work hard for what you have, and you've had to really achieve a lot of stuff by yourself through a lot of effort with minimum help, basically. Then we have, again, oh, I didn't even realize that the Three of Pentacles came out twice as well. Spirit is definitely paying attention. I love it when I get multiple cards like repeated, because these are, again, paying attention, and it's also like repeated strong messages that Spirit wants to send. So we have the Three of Pentacles and we have the Moon. Now, since this is an action, this really, again, not entirely connected to the first impression, but it could be, because this is action and it's a near current as well, when they see you for the first time, it is a strong likelihood that this is someone you work with, or again, someone who has met you in some kind of work-related or, again, formal environment. Something connected to work. It could be your work, it could be their work, could also be studies, or any kind of environment where, you know, you're learning new skills, you know, because again, Three of Pentacles, I repeat, is kind of this rookie energy where you're trying to learn the ropes of something. And we have the Moon here. I'm going to get clarification because I want to, please clarify the Moon, Spirit. Wow. Oh, wow. Look at this. The Moon again and the Temperance in action. Holy shit. I have to say, so there are two things that I see here. The Moon came out twice. Y'all, this person really likes your face. Okay, this is one thing that I will say. They really, like, they find your face attractive somehow, like, or your face stands out the most. That's one thing. But then, because it comes up in action, this person is going to think about you a lot. All right, a lot of daydreaming, a lot of, you know, they see you as dreamy. Okay, so I'm actually going down that line of a little bit of ethereal here. Maybe, again, maybe not entirely ethereal, but they see you as especially if you're a woman, a feminine ideal, definitely. So they see you as like soft and gentle and nurturing, and again, kind of goes hand in hand with this garden energy. I mean, when you think of a garden, it's lush and, you know, fertile, and it's, you know, something that is nourishing, that is replenishing. And there was that, you know, really nice description for this card that said this woman has become one with the garden and she's at peace. So they see you as, I feel, this oasis of tranquility. And this would be especially true, and I say this because of gender roles, right? If you are a woman, but this is true even if you're a man. So this is how they view you. They see you as an oasis of peace. They see you as someone who is soothing. And again, depending on the situation, they might think you would make a good parent as well. Especially, again, if you're a woman, because moon is connected to the mother archetype in astrology. And then we have the Knight of Cups. Oh, wait, the Temperance. I think, again, in this context, especially since we have the face thing, this is also telling me that they see you as a little bit of exotic. Like, there's something about your appearance that is pretty unusual to them, but they find it attractive. And also, because we have the number 3, that's Jupiter energy, and then Temperance is the number 5, that's Mercury. So, and also the Temperance. Okay, Temperance is about mixing things that are relatively paradoxical. And here, yeah, this person is going to think and dream about you a lot before they take any action, I have to say. This is one vibe that I'm getting right off the bat. Then we have the Knight of Cups, okay? And we have the 7 of Swords. We have the 7 of Cups. I'm going to please clarify the 7 of Cups here. Oh my God. Oh my God. Well, can I just say, I mean, 10 of Cups, this makes a lot of sense since this is a first impression of your future spouse. Hello. I mean, love and marriage go together like, ooh, horse and carriage. I almost dropped my cards. King of Cups fell out on my lap, but I don't know if it has any meaning, so I'm just going to put it back in. But anyway, yeah, can I just say, this is going to be a happy marriage, pile number 1, because 10 of Cups, hello, 10 of Cups, 10 of Pentacles, yeah, they look at you like, yeah, this is the person that I can build a legacy with, that I can build a future with, that I can build something solid with. And the Knight of Cups, again, so many cups coming out in an outcome just shows that this person, right off the bat, will kind of sense that, oh no, I'm in love. You know what I'm getting in my mind? I have been listening to, well, I listen to all kinds of music, but I love Fleetwood Mac. And there is this song, actually, there's this song by not Fleetwood Mac, but the one of the singers from Fleetwood Mac, Leslie Buckingham, that is called Trouble, and it's from the 80s, and I think you should listen to that song, because I feel like the way Leslie Buckingham sings that song is kind of like what's probably going to be playing in this person's head when they see you. The song, the lyrics are something like, I think I'm in trouble, you know, like basically it's about him falling in love and realizing, oh crap, you know, I'm catching feels, that kind of thing. I think I'm in trouble. Like, this is the vibe, like this person with the Knight of Cups. I mean, this is such a romantic energy, right? So romantic. But the fact that it's clarified by, you know, on the one hand, the 7 of Swords, on the other hand, the 7 of Cups, clarified by the 10 of Cups in turn, just shows that it's like they're going to be like, I need to plot a strategy. Because 7 of Swords is about, how can I make this happen? They're going to be thinking right off the bat, I need to do something about it. So, you know, like, how can I approach this person? They're going to be thinking about things, ways to approach you, to get close to you right from the beginning. I want to get some more. Please clarify the 7 of Swords as well. I think I'm in. Oh my God. Oh my God. 7 of Cups again. Yeah, they're going to be in love. I feel like it's going to be love at first sight. Almost love at first sight, if not entirely. I feel like, again, it may not be that they will fall in love with you at first sight, but they will feel like, oh shit, just like that song, I'm in trouble, right? I'm slipping. I'm going to be slipping into my feels with this person. They're going to feel that river of emotions starting to pull them away from reason. And we have that 7 of Cups coming out twice. Definitely this feeling, like, because 7 of Cups is about massive opportunities, right? So definitely this feeling like, oh wow, this is it. This is a big one. This is a big opportunity in front of me that I need to make the most of, right? 7 of Cups is, I think some people associate it to Neptune in tropical astrology, Pisces energy. So it makes me think of this, like, you know, dreamy, dream come true sort of thing. Yeah, this is the vibe. Okay, this is the vibe, pile number one. Very nice. And let me get some astrological notes because I want to know astrological cards. Spirit, tell me about pile number one. What is pile number one's future spouse's first impression of them? Oh, nice. Oh, nice. Nice, nice, nice. Oh my gosh, confirmation. Yes. Yes, yes, yes. We have Venus. We have fifth house. So a lot of sun energy. I was thinking this the whole time when I was doing the reading, but I didn't say it out loud because it wasn't strongly coming through the cards through the numerology and stuff. But the sun coming out strongly because we also have confirmation of eighth house, by the way. But the sun is pretty strong because we have fifth house, which is ruled by the sun. It's corresponding to Leo. And we have the sun itself. So this makes sense to me because throughout this reading, there was this feeling of admiration. And I also think that irrespective of whether you will notice this person at the same time as they notice you or not, I definitely feel like this person is going to be looking at you a lot more than you look at them. Like almost like you're minding your own business at first and they're watching you from the shadows, you know? Like they're admiring you, they're watching you, they're processing your behavior, maybe they're studying. I know it sounds potentially creepy, but I don't think it is. I think it's just like this person's going to be in awe of you, really. And we have the ninth house again. The ninth house, especially the houses, talk of environment, right, around the initial first impression. So again, there are strong confirmations that you could see this person for the first time in especially an academic environment, actually, because fifth house in Vedic astrology connected to education up until college level, according to some people, up until master's, right? Ninth house, again, master's degree and above. So very strongly connected to an academic environment or any kind of environment where there's some kind of educational process going through. And again, this is a strong confirmation of that Three of Pentacles coming through and all these like 10 of Pentacles, 9 of Pentacles. So kind of a professional vibe, you know, professional environment. Of course, this could also be just your energy, all right? So maybe it's not that you're going to meet in an academic environment, but they will see you as intelligent, as cultivated, educated, someone who is very, and also with that ninth house and with the moon that came through, they see you as someone who's wise. Again, I was talking about Jupiter energy. Ninth house corresponds to Sagittarius and is ruled by Jupiter, right? And the number three that came through, that's Jupiter, right? So they see you as wise. They see you as benevolent. They really, I feel, for some of you, might even put you a little bit on a pedestal from the very beginning. Because, yeah, they see you as smart. And also that ninth house and the sun coming through. I have to say this again, for those of you who come from my astrology channel especially, because I know I posted a video not too long ago on my astrology channel where I talked about the challenges of men with sun as dark arca. And maybe if you have watched that video, you're not going to be happy to hear this, but I have to say it because, again, the whole time when I was doing this reading, I was thinking this kind of gives me the vibe of a man that might have sun as dark arca or might have sun aspecting his dark arca. And briefly, for those of you who don't know Vedic astrology, the dark arca is this thing, it's a planet, right, with the lowest degree in your natal chart that is probably one of the strongest, if not the strongest, indicator of what you look for in a spouse. And, you know, men with sun as dark arca tend to be drawn to women who have sun qualities, right? So this is a possibility that this person has sun around their dark arca, right? Maybe aspecting the dark arca, or the sun itself is the dark arca. Anyway, whichever the situation may be, of course, they could also just have sun in the seventh house, or they could have a bunch of these placements that show that for them, the spouse archetype is ruled by the sun, is influenced by the sun. And of course, not saying that I'm just reading this from the perspective of what a woman's spouse's first impressions are. The same thing would apply to, you know, if you're a man and you're listening this for a woman, listening to this from the perspective of having a future woman spouse. Yeah, but the sun energy, here's the thing. Sun energy is very positive for the most part. So this person sees you potentially also as high class, which again explains that Nine of Pentacles coming through at first. So maybe they even see you as a little bit out of their league. There could be like this vibe of a little bit of intimidation from their part. Because again, there's a lot of vibe of admiration here, really. It's not just that they're going to find you attractive, they're going to be in awe of you. Like it not just, again, not just in oh, that's a cute face, you know, like it's going to be the full package. Like they're going to be taken aback basically when they see you, the vibe and everything. And that 8th house energy, again, there could be like the 8th house could be a message for some of you that you can meet this person in a way that is very unusual, very kind of serendipitous, or there could be some kind of chaos going on when you meet this person or when they see you for the first time. So I don't know, your train gets delayed and you have to catch a different train and they see you on that train or something. So there could be some kind of element of instability, surprise, last minute changes. The 8th house can also be something about secrecy. So again, they could perceive you as someone who's really mysterious, very secretive, very closed off, maybe. Introverted could be another one. See, with the sun and the 8th house and the 5th house and the Venus, there's kind of like this up and down or sort of a balancing act between, on the one hand, being very secretive and very introverted, but on the other hand, also having the potential to be fun and joyful and expressive. I think this person really likes the way that you express yourself with that 5th house. There is also a possibility for some of you that you might come across as a bit innocent or childlike with that 5th house. This could also be, again, because the 5th house is connected to self-expression, especially drama, right? It's connected to anything you love to do. And we have a lot of love here. We have a lot of heart chakra. So I think this person potentially sees you as very passionate, sees you as someone who is fun as well, but not fun like, I don't think it's fun in a shallow level. I mean, definitely not, because again, this is your future spouse. But they see you as someone who's fun maybe to be around, someone who uplifts them with that sun. Again, another song I'm getting in my head is Here Comes the Sun by the Beatles. Here comes the sun, dee, 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 dee. You know, something, and I said, it's all right, something like that. So it's like, yeah, you brighten up this person's day. And Venus, I did say this with the face. And again, Venus also connects to the face because it rules the 2nd house. I don't want to get too much into astrological theory, but there is a repeated message that this person really likes your face, okay? And also Venus, not just your face, because Venus is beauty. It is beauty overall. So they definitely see you as beautiful, just plain and simple. I think they see you as someone who is undisputably beautiful, someone who's naturally beautiful as well, because we have that jungle thing here. And I have to say, with the jungle thing, depending on how you know this person, where you see them, etc., they might perceive you as someone, especially with the 9th house, they might perceive you as someone who has a bit of an adventurous streak, someone who likes nature, someone who would be fun in the outdoors, right? And also with the 8th house, again, there is that message of transformation. Such a strong confirmation that this house came through because the Tower came out twice. We have the 8th house. So I think they, again, there are multiple possibilities. One possibility, and again, could be all of them at the same time are applying in different ways. One possibility is that they see you as someone who has gone through a lot of ups and downs. Again, this is a very strong confirmation of that Tower energy. They see you as someone who is not a stranger to hardship, someone who potentially has weathered many a crises before, and they see you as having a lot of strength, really, a lot of inner strength. But at the same time, it could also be that, again, they kind of see you as a little bit weird, maybe a little paranormal, like maybe inclined towards things that are woo-woo, that are strange, I mean, let's not forget we also have this like crystal ball over here. And like I said, the number 7 connects to K2, which is the co-ruler of Scorpio. And K2, again, I actually have a video on my astrology channel, Astro-Martine. I keep, sorry that I keep referencing, but I think it's relevant. I actually have this long video called The Archetypes of K2, where I went through K2 connections to aesthetics, to I looked at famous people's horoscopes, directors, for instance, like Guillermo del Toro has a very strong K2, and he makes all these weird movies, really, that are very K2 dominant in themes. And then Stephen King has a very strong K2, a bunch of famous people, right? And I talk about how K2 connects, actually, literally, not just my opinion. This is traditional Vedic teaching. K2 connects to dead bodies, right? Because, again, there's this entire legend connected to it. I'm not going to get into it here, but it is basically about instinct. It's about past lives. It's about connection to the paranormal, to the spirit world, to intuition, things like the collective subconscious, to personal subconscious, etc., right? So people who are K2 dominant are seen as very instinctive, very intuitive. They perceive things that, you know, other people cannot, and all that stuff. And it's even connected to potential psychic ability, actually, in Vedic astrology. So I think this person sees you as having that vibe, having that a bit of an occultist vibe, which doesn't surprise me since you are, you know, watching a tarot reading. But maybe there's something more about it. Maybe not just like in the sense that you occasionally watch tarot readings. Maybe there's something in your energy. Maybe the way you dress. I don't know. You're part of a Wicca coven and you dress in a way like a druid or something. But yeah, there's this vibe that they pick up of the paranormal, of the occult about you, and of mystery, right? And I have to say, there's also a lot of physical attraction here, especially if you're a woman, but even if you're a man, because Venus is about attraction, pure and simple, right? So they see you as someone who's attractive. And they might also think, especially with that Seven of Cups coming out twice, that you're someone who has a lot of options. And I think that's also why we had that Seven of Swords come through at the end, because this person is going to be strategizing how to push away the competition when it comes to you. Yeah. So this is what I see. Let me get Astro Dice as a final confirmation. I would love to also do nakshatras, but honestly, my time is limited and I cannot get into it because it would take me forever and a day to also cover nakshatras here. Maybe with future readings, all right? Bear with me. But, Spirit, tell me about pile number 1. What is their future spouses? First impressions of them. Oh my gosh, here we have the Jupiter, such a strong confirmation. And we have Sagittarius, such a strong confirmation. And we have, last but not least, we have number 7, such a strong confirmation because, again, number 7 is a confirmation of K2 energy. But 7 can also be connected to the 7th house, which is the house of the spouse, which is just like a basic confirmation that this is your spouse, right? And they, not just a basic confirmation that this is your spouse, but the fact that they see you right off the bat as marriage material, okay? And the Sagittarius energy, again, talks about you coming across as wise, adventurous, potentially outdoorsy, someone who likes to travel, someone who likes to explore. Yeah, someone who's cultured, knowledgeable, educated, and all those things. So they see you as pretty smart as well. Yeah. This has been pretty much it. Pretty much what I have to say for your pile number 1. Very complex, again, fluent, I would say, reading in the sense that, again, messages kind of intertwined and, you know, bled into one another in a very nice, coherent sort of description. So I definitely have enjoyed this. I hope you have too. And if you have, do not forget to like the video, subscribe to my channel, click on the notifications bell to see when I will upload a new video, a new reading. Feel free to comment in this comment section, of course, with any feedback you would like to share and ideas for future topics that you would like me to cover maybe on this channel. If you're interested in a private tarot reading, check out the video description. I will leave my email address there. You can email me for a pricing list, reading options, any other information you're curious about. And I've also left a link in the video description to reviews. I have gotten 4 private readings before. Go ahead and check them out. Might help you decide if you want to get a reading from me. Aside from that, of course, if you would like to support my channel further on the one hand and also have access to extra content, you can consider becoming a member. You can see more details about the membership section by clicking on the join button under any of my videos. You will see the prices in your local currency. And aside from that, last but not least, as I have mentioned, I also have an astrology channel. It's called Martine. I do focus mainly on Vedic astrology, which means that I use the sidereal zodiac and the whole sign house system, because I have a lot of people asking me about that. I do have, like, so mainly I focus on Vedic, but I have more than 10 years of experience in Vedic, and before that, I was into tropical for more than 10 years. So I am very well versed with both of these systems, and I oftentimes use my insights from tropical, and I basically have a very practical approach to astrology with respect to what I look to, because I'm interested in what works, basically. And I like to use a lot of examples in my videos. I like to look over horoscopes of famous people and use a lot of practical everyday examples with respect to how astrology plays out. So if you're curious about astrology, go ahead and check out my channel. I will be linking it in the video description as well, like I said. And maybe subscribe to it if you're interested in astrology. I would greatly appreciate it. Thank you very much for listening, and I really hope to see you at my next tarot reading. Bye! Welcome, pile number 2. This is your reading if you have chosen this card over here, 52 Sea Witch, and or this Labradorite crystal. So this is going to be the card selection phase. I'm going to add timestamps so you can skip directly to the interpretation. Okay, Spirit, tell me about pile number 2. How does pile number 2's future, what will pile number 2's future spouse's first impressions of them be? Oh, intense. We have Knight of Swords, we have the Tower, we have the Two of Cups, we have Ace of Swords, we have Page of Wands, and Death. Spirit, tell me about pile number 2. What will be their future what first impressions will their future spouse have of pile number 2? Oh my god, no way. Wow, all right. So we have the Knight of Swords again. Came out right underneath the Knight of Swords. You are going to come across as very intense to this person, pile number 2. We have the High Priestess. We have the Nine of Swords. We have the Eight of Cups. We have the Fool. We have the Temperance. Okay, let's see some more cards. Spirit, tell me about pile number 2. What will their future spouse's first impressions of them be? Wow, pile number 2. I dig. Raven, Shaman, you are the creator and magician. Use your gifts for good. There is power in your wisdom and words. Connect with the elemental spirits and glide through the void. Claim your place as keeper of the mysteries. Nice. Let me get some more. Spirit, tell me about pile number 2. What will be their future spouse's first impressions of pile number 2? Message of love, number 34. Okay, so 34 boils down to a number 7. And that's K2 energy. Message of love. All right. Let me read the description for, I'm already getting, I have to say, Mercury energy for you, but I'm gonna hold that thought. So let's say, oh my god, we have number 7 here as well. Yes, Sea Witch. Let's see, I'm gonna read the description from the booklet. 52. Innocence, joy of play, wonder. This small mermaid is called the Witch of the Sea. Instead of a fishtail, she has a jellyfish on the lower part of her body. Her hair sways behind her like flowing tentacles. She holds a windmill in her hand that propels her forward. A wide-eyed fish is her loyal companion on her ocean journeys. She is young and uses the magic of childlike thinking to dance in the waves, marveling at the wonder of life. Ooh, very nice. Very, very nice. Number 7, which absolutely connects to Ketu, has shown up twice. Now we have 34. 3 plus 4 is a 7. We have 52. 5 plus 2 is a 7. Then we have the Raven, which is also connected to K2 energy. I have to say, before I continue, if you felt drawn to pile number 1, you might want to check it out. But only if you felt drawn to it. If not, you're going to get all the messages you need from this reading. And we have the Knight of Swords that came out twice. But let me finish the idea of K2. And we have Death here. There's heavy, very heavy K2 energy here. So K2, or the south node of the moon, is connected to the spirit world, the occult. It is the co-ruler of Scorpio in Vedic astrology together with Mars. And there is an energy of mysticism, undeniable mysticism, spirituality, especially since you also have the High Priestess here. Okay, so there's definitely something very mysterious. I have mentioned this in the first reading as well. Bear with me. I have not recorded a video in a long time. I think you can tell that I've forgotten how to speak. Mysterious. Pile number 2. You are mysterious, and there is a very strong intensity about you. Very intense energy here. Knight of Swords came out twice, one underneath the other. Okay. And this shows a very strong impression, very strong first impression. And Knight of Swords, I have to say, is very much connected to Mars energy, actually, more than any other energy. So there's this warrior spirit, there's this intensity, this purposefulness, you know, this fighting spirit, really, that comes through right off the bat, among other nuances, right? But I was also going to say, I don't know if whoever did these cards knows about K2, but K2 actually rules over fish and dogs, especially black dogs. So it's really fascinating to me that, you know, we have a card with the number 7 on it, 52, which again, in numerology, you add the digits and that boils down to a 7. So this is a 7 energy, and it's, you know, shown as connected to a fish. And I also have to say, you know, in Vedic astrology, in nakshatras, there are certain nakshatras that are connected to the sea. So Purva, Shadha, Uttara, Bhadrapada, for instance, which are connected to, Uttara Bhadrapada is connected to Naghas, which are snake-like deities that reside in the sea. So you could have placements in these nakshatras, or of course you could have a lot of water in your horoscope, so that would make sense. Scorpio is my biggest suspect because we have a lot of intensity as well, but there could be Pisces, Cancer as well. So like I said, Knight of Swords, this person sees you as someone having a warrior spirit. If you're a woman, there's a little bit of Xena in you, I have to say. Right, if you're a man, I don't know, Hercules, I guess, Patroclus, I don't know, whatever warrior you can think about, Achilles, whatever. We have the Tower, we have the High Priestess, yeah? And the Tower here shows, again, there's an energy of tumultuousness here, of unpredictability. If you will, again, if you're familiar with tropical astrology, you can think of Tower as a little bit of Uranus energy, right? So a lot of disruption. In Vedic, again, you can connect it to Rahu maybe a little bit as well, you know, because Rahu carries this energy of unpredictability. And let me see. I want to get to clarification before I continue. Please clarify the Tower, because I want to know what is this Tower about, Spirit. Please clarify the Tower for me. No way. This is what I get. This is what I get when I ask for clarifications. I'm sorry. Thank you, Spirit. I get it. Okay, so we get it. This is Tower energy. Tower, 100% Tower energy. Can I please clarify the High Priestess now? Priestesses. 6 of Cups. We also have the Page of Cups that came flipped through. So we have 6 of Cups, Page of Cups. There is a definite childlike energy about you, pile number 2, that this person picks up. Very childlike. Okay, maybe not very. Maybe that sounds insulting. I shouldn't say very. But there is a childlike vibe about you. A Peter Pan vibe. And I have to say, with the Tower in support... I just realized it. Of course, of course. Because this is about their first impressions, okay? What the Tower means, first and foremost, is that this person will be in shock when they see you. They will have a put the brakes on moment. I don't know how to explain it. Like there's something about you that is traffic stopping for this person. I'm gonna get more into, of course, bear in mind this is a general reading, so I can't, well, I will try to get as specific, the more specific, and I can get as specific as I can. I'm gonna try to get as specific as I can, but there will be different reasons, so I didn't want to get too much into why this person may think that you're, obviously, probably my guess is that you are their type, okay? But there's something about you that is just arresting, right? For them, you will stop them in their tracks. And then there is that High Priestess, that Six of Cups, that Page of Cups. They will be very impressed, and I have to say, not that they don't like your appearance, pile number 2. In fact, I actually love this kind of reading, but again, I'm not going to digress into my personal preferences, but this person will connect to you on a deeper level from the beginning. So they will like your vibe. They will have this strong emotional impact, and they will be struck by the spiritual energy that you project. There's a calmness, there's a self-awareness, there's a femininity about you. Okay, I know this is a general thing, so again, I'm not trying to say that everybody here only dates men. But irrespective, so the High Priestess is a gentle, feminine energy, okay? It's kind of like a combination. It's not just like a mother, right? High Priestess is like the moon is a mother, right? High Priestess is like a more philosophical, elevated, spiritual mother energy. So, someone who can be like a universal mother, someone like a Mother Teresa, someone like the Virgin Mary, like the Mother of Christ, right? I don't know. Well, not so much because she's not really expanded in the New Testament. I mean, her character is not that developed. Sorry if I'm offending anyone. But in the sense, this is like a High Priestess is like Athena, I think, the goddess of wisdom, like this wise feminine energy, like, the old wise woman of the tribe that people would go to ask for healing advice and what herbs to use and how to heal themselves. There's this very soothing and spiritual and elevated vibe about you, pile number 2. And I'm sorry to say this, but I literally just had this, I'm getting goosebumps. Like, I literally just got this vibe, like this person almost sees you as a Jesus figure, in the sense that there's something just, the angels start singing when they see you. And I know this may sound really crazy, but especially with that Page of Cups and the Six of Cups, there's something pure about you. There is a purity about your energy. I think when this person sees you, you're like some kind of a light that comes upon them or something. I mean, and I'm seriously, I'm getting goosebumps. But right off the bat, when I looked at these cards, there's a lot of intensity, which definitely shows me that you make a powerful impression. All right. And we have the Two of Cups there. We have the Nine of Swords in opposition. And so the Nine of Swords here, and I want to get clarification. Please clarify the Nine of Swords here. I do have ideas, but I would like to get clarifications. We have Seven of Swords. Okay, please clarify the Two of Cups. Strength. Oh, wow. So the way that I would read the third position in this question, because this is a question about what is their future, what is your future spouse's first impressions, right? Normally the third position is about what is getting in your way. So the way that I read this is it could be one of two things, or it could be two things at the same time. And namely, it could show what they perceive to be in the way of them pursuing you. And at the same time, it could be what they perceive as things that are getting in your way, and with respect to, so things like are obstacles to your development, or things that they perceive to be setbacks, right, on your journey, or things that they don't like about you, could even be something like that, or things that they see as problematic, right, with respect to why, for instance, it might be difficult for them to pursue you at first, okay? And so the Two of Cups with the Strength, this person could assume that you're in a relationship when they see you for the first time. Now, I don't know, maybe for some of you might actually be in a relationship. Maybe they will see you with a person and they will assume that that person is your partner. Maybe because they see you as so impressive, they assume that you have a partner, all right? So that could be one thing. They might assume that you have a partner, and then they will think, oh no, how am I gonna make my moves on this person? But then on the other hand, if I just look at it from the perspective of how they view you, this could also show that because of that strength and that Two of Cups, they see you as someone who has really high standards, someone who does not, compromise in any way. They might feel like you're someone who is really elevated, right? So they might be afraid that they will never be able to meet your standards. And especially with that Nine of Swords and the Seven of Swords underneath, this person might be downright anxious, like you will strike them very deeply in their soul and in their heart, and they will feel like, oh no, how do I approach this mythical creature that is so magical and wonderful? And, like, what am I even gonna say, So that Seven of Swords is, it feels like, so the Nine of Swords feels like, first of all, anxiety. So they will feel nervous. You will make them feel nervous right from the get-go. But then the Seven of Swords is in the immediate aftermath of realizing that they're nervous. They're going to be plotting strategies. They're going to be like, I need to get my shit together and think about how to approach this person, Or, again, from purely how they view you, this could mean that they see you as someone who is very strategic, someone who, maybe because you are a perfectionist, or maybe because you have been hurt in the past, you have very high standards and you don't tolerate any kind of mistakes, right? So they really, but I think for most of you, it's probably going to be a combination of these things, right? So they view you as someone with high standards, they think you're high quality stuff, and you make them nervous, you make them anxious, and at the same time, they perceive you to be someone who is not easy to approach, because, again, like I said, probably because they see you as someone who is, I don't want to say intolerant, but someone who's really firm with respect to their beliefs and their standards. So, yeah, this is pretty much what I see. Then we have the Ace of Swords, Eight of Cups, and this is in the past. I want to get clarifications, okay? Please clarify the Ace of Swords, Spirit. Oh, wow, the Magician. Please clarify the Eight of Cups. When I said this person is impressed, I mean, holy shit. Eight of Wands? Wow. So I don't know who you are, pile number 2, but this person, sheesh, it's like, they see you like, if you're a woman, this makes me feel like they look at you like you're Arwen from Lord of the Rings, right? Or if you're a man, they see you as Batman or something, in the sense that, I don't know, again, I don't know who you are, and what I'm going to try to get more messages about what context they might see you in for the first time when I get to the astrological notes. But they see you as someone who has achieved a lot, someone who is like on top of their game. With that Magician and the Ace of Swords, they see you as someone who, again, I'm getting that song by Ariana Grande, I Want It, I Get It, that kind of thing. So they see you as someone who is a go-getter. I mean, right off the bat, we do have the Knight of Swords coming out twice, so that was a strong message, but now it's reinforced, right? This idea that you're someone who makes a plan, sticks to it and gets exactly what you want. They see you as someone who is a massive achiever. And with that 8 of Cups and that 8 of Wands, they also see you as someone who is, again, probably not the type that likes to waste time. They could see you as very direct. And again, this is a repeated theme because the Knight of Swords, hello. So we have that. And again, the Magician also is a reinforcement of a little bit of that mythical, occultist sort of vibe. But I think this person is... I was getting that song by Queen, It's a Kind of Magic. Yeah, so they see you as someone who is supernaturally fascinating. Okay, that's the best word, fascinating. It's like this person... oh my god, another song that I'm getting in my head is that 90s song, I've never known a girl like you before. That kind of, I don't know who sang it, but I'm pretty sure if you just search I've never known a girl like you before 90s, I'm sure you can find it. It was a black and white video of this guy, whatever. It was really popular back in the day. This is the vibe that I'm getting. Like, this person, I think at first they're fascinated, terrified, and also they will look at you like, how are you possible? How are you real? Because there's something about you, like, I've never seen anything like you before. You know, they're like, this is why I said with that Tower, because again, this is a reinforcement. That Tower coming out twice in the second position is like, this person is going to be speechless. Their brain will not be able to compile everything they witness about you all at once. So, and of course, since this is your future spouse, for the most part, I do think this is going to be a very positive first impression. But like I said, it might also be mixed with a bit of apprehension, a bit of anxiety, a bit of, wow, like, you know, what am I dealing with here? Like, they will have a hard time making you, what's the word? Understanding you, right? Making you out. Is that the way to put it? Maybe, I don't know. But something like that, you know, trying to figure out what you're about. It will be difficult for them at first. But at the same time, you're very impressive, right? So again, with this past thing, with the Magician, with the Moon, with the 8 of Wands, not the Moon, sorry, the 8. So we have repeated number 8. So again, this is Scorpio, 8th house, okay? Occultist energy. And that Ace of Swords, very smart. See you as a very smart person. I am potentially picking up Aquarius energy as well, especially with the Temperance coming through. So I'm going to see what the astrological notes are going to say as well. But yeah, there's this very strong energy of you being fascinating, brilliant, potentially a genius. They might even see you as someone who's very, very, very bright, you know. And I think you may also, like, the first time this person sees you, it could be now with the Knight of Swords that I think about it, could be in a situation where there's some kind of competition going on, maybe a debate, any kind of competition, but especially something that is physical, because the Knight of Swords has that Mars energy going on. So this would make a lot of sense. But anyway, I'm gonna hold that thought. We have that Page of Wands. We have we have the page, like I said, repeated messages. I wouldn't be surprised if you have strong Mercury as well, because there are repeated messages of youthfulness. Okay, Page of Wands, Page of Cups, the Sea Witch card. We have that 6 of Cups, which is about children. So there is this very youthful vibe about you. So we have that Page of Wands with the Fool. This person sees you as very enthusiastic. And again, there is this message of having a pure heart. Having this, not in the sense that you're naive or something, but in the sense that you have this uncorrupted energy. I don't know how to put it. And again, maybe some of you are virgins. I just got this vibe, you know. But like, there's this very, undiluted energy about you. Like, you are your pure, uncorrupted essence, you know. And the Fool especially, I think this person likes your enthusiasm. Please clarify the Fool, because I want to know. The Wheel of Fortune. Okay, so this is more about that serendipity, that up and down. This person can also see you as a bit moody, I have to say. They perceive you as a little bit moody. Please clarify the Page of Wands as well, Spirit. Are you kidding me? Okay, Spirit, fine. Spirit does not want to give more details. We have the Fool twice now. Okay, so the Fool. The Fool is about enthusiasm. This is Aries energy as well, you know, because there's that Knight of Swords, the Fool energy. So Aries is pioneering, initiating energy. We have that with the Magician a little bit as well. And then we have Death and Temperance. An outcome. And again, I want to get please clarify the Death, Spirit. Queen of Pentacles. Please clarify the Temperance. Four of Cups. Okay, so when it comes to the outcome, again, this is about your future spouse. So the ultimate outcome is that you're going to marry this person. But this is also about how they may perceive. Also, I wanted to say this because I was thinking about this right now. With the Fool energy, the Page, the Wheel, they see you as someone who is going to stay youthful for a long time. This may even relate to the way you present yourself, your actual physical appearance. So maybe you're someone who ages gracefully. That could be a thing. But they also just perceive the fact that you have this... I keep getting songs in my head. I was getting the Bangles, Eternal Flame. You know, what is this burning on eternal flame? This is the kind of vibe. So I feel like this person is going to see you as someone who is going to carry them through. On the one hand, someone who is going to be like a light in the dark for them, guiding them through life, something to keep them motivating, something worth fighting for. And also someone who has this well of resources, of emotional resources, of inner strength. Because again, with that wheel of it, the Wheel of Fortune is about landing on your feet, you know, someone who knows how to navigate life's challenges and never give up. This is what they see. Like, wow, I'm very curious to see what the astrological cards show here. There's a lot of Mars energy coming through. And then we have that Death with the Queen of Pentacles, and we have the Temperance with the Four of Cups. So this is, I think, on the one hand, how they perceive you and them and their relationship your relationship developing with this person. It's also how they might perceive, and again, it could be both things at the same time, how they might perceive your development, right, in the future. So they see you as a Queen of Pentacles in the making. They see you as someone who is well on their way to becoming this very self-reliant, very independent, and very abundant person overall. Abundant and nurturing, so strong, but at the same time, well-balanced. Someone who, and if I, you know, it's interesting to note here that the rest of the cards don't have a lot of pentacles here. And right at the end, you have that Death and the Queen of Pentacles. So what this tells me is that this person, I'm trying hard to say this in a way that doesn't go across as negative, because I don't think it's negative, but this person sees you as very childlike and potentially immature in some ways, okay? But again, not necessarily in a negative. I think they really enjoy the fact that you're childlike, the fact that you have that innocence, but they see you as becoming a strong, self-reliant, mature person. Like you're well on your way to becoming that, but right now you're still kind of all over the place in a way, you know, like you're emotional, you're impetuous, you know, you might be impulsive. I think they perceive a lot of like energy about you, but they think they're thinking, you know, as time progresses, you will be settling into that Queen of Pentacles. And it's interesting to note again that we have a ram here. So even though it's Queen of Pentacles, which technically is Earth energy in astrology, so that would be Taurus, Capricorn, Virgo, we have that Ram there, which to me is a confirmation of Aries. But you're going to be like a mature Aries, you know? So a leader, a manager, a boss, but most importantly, someone who is mature and basically together, has themselves together materially, professionally, in every way, and successful ultimately. This is what, you know, this is what the vibe is. And then we have the Temperance with the Four of Cups. They see you as someone who has the potential to be very original in thought. Maybe even like a philosopher, someone who has important messages to deliver on a large scale to masses of people. Even if that's, you know, irrespective of whether you're meant to communicate. Oh my God, I just realized you have message here. And I have to say, when I saw message of love, the first thing that I thought about was Mercury. Because Mercury, sometimes it's called the messenger somehow. You know, in astrology, Mercury is the planet of communication. And oh, speaking of how you're going to meet this person, I just realized you could meet this person online. They could see you for the first time online. I just realized this. Yeah, it is a definite possibility. Definitely not for everyone, all right? But this is something that came through. Especially when you think about it, there are multiple symbolisms here of messages. Ravens used to be used to send messages, not just in Game of Thrones. It used to be a thing in the past. But anyway, but yeah, they see you as the potential to become a very, and especially with the Death here and the Queen of Pentacles, there's something revolutionary about you. I feel this person looks at you and thinks this is someone who could really make changes. And not just with respect to themselves, but again, with respect to their impact on the world. This is the vibe that I'm getting, Aquarius vibes as well. So this is very fascinating. So I'm going to get the Astro cards because I can't wait. Literally, as soon as I turn the deck upside down, the first card that I see is the North Node, which is Rahu. But I'm not going to take it into account because I did not shuffle. So Spirit, tell me about pile number 2. What will be their future spouse's first impressions of them? 11th house. 11th house, which is connected to Aquarius. It corresponds to Aquarius and Rahu. So this is a confirmation, even though I didn't get Rahu in itself. We also have 7th house partnership, love and partnership, which again, just as you would expect. Well, not always, obviously, because it's not always the case that a person will know at first sight, but with the 7th house showing up here, this person will know right off the bat from the first time they see you that you are the kind of person that they would want to marry. Okay. Then we have the 4th house, home and family. And I have to say, this is the part where I'm going to get into potential ways or potential circumstances of how they may see you for the first time. And the reason I say see you is because, again, it's not necessarily the case that you're actually going to be formally introduced or that you're going to see them for the first time that they see you. So maybe this is a person who first sees you, but you don't even know who they are, right? Or they watch you from afar. Or again, maybe they could see your profile online or something. And yeah, so the 4th house shows that you could have also met this person, or they could see you in some situation where you are close to your family of origin, right? Especially close to the mother side of the family. So this could be like a family gathering, a family barbecue, a family dinner. This could also potentially be their family, but yeah, could be. So it could be their family or your family. This could also be that you might actually, you know, again, when they see you for the first time, you are at home or they are at home, which again would be a confirmation for the possibility that, again, they might see you online for the first time, right? Because again, usually when people are, I don't know, recording themselves or posting pictures of themselves or something, they are at home a lot of the times. This, or, you know, he was at home, or he or she, right, the future spouse was at home when they saw you for the first time. This could also be that you will see them, or they will see you, because again, it's their future the future spouse's first impressions. It could be at a restaurant, any kind of real estate, actually, with the 4th house. So it could be any connection to real estate, restaurant, hotel, building management, building administration, homeowners association meeting, anything to do with like buildings, even architecture. I don't know, an exhibition or on architecture, a speech on architectural design, anything connected to home, buildings, design, feng shui courses, etc. Right? 4th house also connects to primary education. So this could be that the first time they see you, you are going through primary education. So that means education up until high school level, including. So this could be that you met in high school, or they were staring at you when you were in high school, but maybe you didn't know that they were staring at you. Or even younger than high school, of course. That could be a thing. 4th house can also connect to vehicles. So this is also a potential confirmation of that Knight of Swords energy. So a vehicle could be like you are moving when this person sees you for the first time. So you could be both on a train, or you're on the bus together, or it could be some kind of circumstances where, again, you're at a cycling event together or something. You're on a boat together, especially with that sea witch energy. So you could both be on a vehicle, or you could be, again, in some kind of situation or circumstance connected to vehicles. Like you're at a store looking to buy a bicycle, and this is where they notice you, etc. 7th house is any kind of formal circumstance. So and also, oh my God, the 11th house, I just realized, this is a very strong confirmation that they could, first see you online, because the 11th house is about how we reach a larger audience. And again, it confirms what I talked about with that revolutionary vibe. I think this person may think that you're someone who has the potential to be a revolutionary, like to change things maybe on a larger scale for society, or influence people on a larger scale. But it's also a strong confirmation that the first time that they see you, it could be online. And the 11th house, if it's not online, right? 11th house is also about large groups of people, large gatherings, concerts, right? So this person could see you for the first time at a concert. It's also friends and acquaintances. So 11th house is about your larger circle of friends and acquaintances, also potentially co-workers. So like your entire network, right? So 11th house is like the highest net, the biggest net of fish that you have in your life. LOL. Bad analogy, meaning all the people that you know, right? But maybe you're not especially people that are friends. Like at its core, 11th house is about friends, or it's about elder siblings. So again, they could see you for the first time in something connected to these elements, right? So again, it could be that a friend will introduce you to them, or again, it could be that they see you from afar because you are friends with one of their friends and they see your social media, etc. Something like that could be happening. And of course, could also be a situation with the elder sibling. You can also stretch it to mean siblings in general, but usually 11th house is the elder sibling. So this could mean, again, either your elder sibling or their elder sibling somehow, is going to introduce you or be a point of contact of how they see you for the first time. Then we have that Neptune energy, which again is a confirmation, I would say, of a lot of vibes that I saw here. They see you as very dreamy. They may see you as a little bit impractical, I have to say. Okay, and it is a confirmation of that sea witch. There's a lot of maritime stuff. And by the way, so with all the sea stuff, this could also be that, they see you close to the sea for the first time. Or in something connected to aquatic activities, or marine stuff, or stuff like that. Then we have the conjunction, and wow. I was gonna say something. I'm gonna try to be politically correct. Not politically. Yeah, try to tone it down to be diplomatic and to be PC. But with the conjunction and with the Knight of Swords, this is a reinforcement of how they see you as a very intense person, a very self-motivated person. But at the same time, they see you as someone that they really want to have a fusion with. I think this, and I don't want to get too sexual and stuff, but I really think this person, whether they realize it on a conscious or subconscious level, they really want to like merge with you in a weird way, like not just on a physical plane, but like an emotional way. They kind of probably think that you're someone who's very intense with all of these energies. And yeah, it could be that they're even thinking about the union thing, especially since the seventh house traditionally in Vedic astrology actually is the house that corresponds to the actual sexual act, right? So it could be like right from the beginning, whether it's conscious or unconscious, they do see you as someone that they want to merge with, you know, quote unquote. Okay. And again, I don't think it's like, it's not in a shallow way, it's not in a smutty way. It's, they want to be one with you, like, you know, mind, body, and soul. Like, this is pretty intense. Like I said, from the beginning, really intense. And let me get the Astro dice. Spirit, tell me about pile number 2. Pile number 2. What is their future spouse? What is their future spouse's first impression of them? Oh my god! Okay. I'm going to do it again, I think. Or not. No, because I got too many confirmations. So clearly they they were meant to show up. And then we have the number 6. Oh. This is the one that I threw out again because it fell on my lap. So I didn't even see what side it fell on. But since I threw it again, I'm going to take the number 6. Aries and Pluto, very strong confirmations. Look at this. Aries and Pluto. I would not be surprised again if you have very strong placements in Aries, in Pluto. Ashwini Nakshatra again would make a lot of sense because Ashwini is ruled by Ketu and it falls in Aries and sidereal as well. So it's a combination of these energies that came through. Of course, Pluto is the ruler of Scorpio in tropical astrology. So I do take that as a confirmation of this intensity. So they see you as someone who's very, very intense, but at the same time have this innocence. And Ashwini, by the way, is also connected to this innocence and youthfulness and this kind of youthful spirit vibe. Someone who stays young for a long time, by at least on a spiritual level, you know, someone who's like eternally fresh somehow, and a bit of this pioneering spirit. Now, of course, Aries doesn't just cover Ashwini, could also be Bharani energy. Again, Bharani is more sensuous, more heavy emotionally, also makes sense in terms of intensity a little bit. Very feminine, very lush, very sensuous, and also kind of connected to the metaphysical, you know, occult stuff. And then there's also Kritika, which is a possibility. Kritika would definitely make sense with that Knight of Swords coming out twice, because it's called the Star of Fire, and it's connected to warrior spirit, actually connected to warfare and weapons and stuff like that. I just got a vibe here, an idea that you could be meeting this person, or they could see you for the first time at a shooting range or something to do with weapons or during martial arts or something like that, combat, fighting, competition. Like I said, all of those very Aries, very Kritika related. All right. And then we have that Pluto energy, which again is that death energy, that transformation, that Scorpio. Like I said, depending on how well this person knows you, it could be that there's something about you that just shows transformation. Now, for some of you, especially since this is about first impressions, this could be that this person sees that you maybe have had some work done. That would make sense with that transformation, especially if you were to look at it from the physical appearance perspective. Another possibility, since we have this message of them maybe seeing you for the first time, in school. Sorry, oh my god, I just realized after I stopped shuffling these cards and I put it back, I also got the North Node again. So I feel like, again, the North Node was there hovering in the background, kind of telling you that I'm here. But either way, we had the 11th house, so that confirms the Aquarius energy. We don't need the North Node. Anyway, where was I? Yeah. So I think, yeah, because we have that message that you could have met this person in school, or they could have seen you for the first time in school. This could be a situation where this person actually saw you for the first time in school, but they see you again at a later age, and they see that you have transformed physically, you know, like you're more attractive or you look different. But that's less likely, because that would mean that this is not exactly the very first impression, but rather like a later first impression. So I don't think it's as likely, but it could be. It could be. Because technically, I mean, if you see someone for the first time, or they see you, I don't know, when you're like 12, and then you meet them again when you're 30, I mean, that kind of counts like a first impression, because you're an adult now, right? Yeah, but it could be, right? Either way, there's this vibe about you of someone who is tough, has a lot of inner strength, has weathered many storms, like I said, you know, someone who's not a pushover, definitely, even though there's a little touch of innocence, of impetuousness, of, you know, impulsiveness and passion, definitely. I think this person sees you as very passionate. Yeah. So we have this number 6 as well, which did come through. I am going to take it into account. So the number 6 connects to 6th house, which is Virgo. Oh my gosh. I think it was meant to come through. Because again, maybe some of you, now, even if you're not virgins when this person sees you for the first time, there is something about you that is pure, like I said. So there could be something just immaculate, uncorrupted, like I said, like your pure essence, like the world has not tainted you, you know. And again, depending on how well this person knows you, or depending on context, right, and how much they pick up about your life, it could be that this person knows a few things and they think it's fascinating how maybe you have gone through some rough things, and yet you did not allow them to destroy your essence, you know, to corrupt you, to tear you down. And I think, especially with all this Aries, all this Mars energy, there is this quality that they perceive about you of imperviousness, you know, like you are not easy to tear down, and they really like that about you. And yeah, this pretty much. And also with the number 6, again, could be there could be a message that they will see you for the first time through everyday activities, because the 6th house is about daily routine. So it's also the house of employment. So it could be that, again, they could see you at your work, or you meet through some kind of work related context. But 6th house can be also anything connected to anything that is a daily routine. So you get on the same bus every day. They could see you on the bus. Or you take your dog for a walk every day at the same park, right? They could see you there. So anything that is a daily routine for them or for you could be how they see you for the first time. And then the 6th house, speaking of dogs, can also connect to pets. So maybe the first time they see you is at a pet store or something, or at the vet. You take your dog to the vet or something. Some kind of context connected to pets. Maybe they are your dog's vet, that could be a thing. And then 6th house is also about healthcare, especially the medical field, but anything that is health related. And again, this could be that, I don't know, they see you at a clinic. They see you when you are about to get your blood tests, right? They see you at the dentist. They see you at a nutritionist's office, etc., right? Anything connected to the medical field. Maybe they see you getting, a facial treatment. This could be how they see you for the first time. Any kind of 6th house can be self-care, employment, the medical field, stuff like that. Yeah, this is pretty much what I have for you. Pile number 2. A lot of very strong, very specific. I love it when I get these very how should I put it? Like very well developed messages. Like they really, messages just weave into one another. So many repeated cards. I lost track of how many cards came out twice for you, pile number 2. Definitely a lot of strong messages that Spirit wanted you to hear. So I really hope you have enjoyed this at least as much as I have. And of course, feel free to share your feedback in the comment section. Anything you want to share, whether it resonated, if it didn't resonate, what you didn't like, what you would have liked, as long as you keep it polite, of course. Feel free to also, recommend topics that you would like me to cover on my channel. Maybe in the future, I do take them into account. I might add them into a poll, just like I did for this topic on my community page, so you can get to vote on it. Of course, don't forget to subscribe to my channel so that you see when I post a new video. Click on the notifications bell to see when I post a new video. And yeah, to see when I post stuff in my community page and anything like that. Aside from that, of course, I also do personal readings. If you are interested in a personal tarot reading, check out the video description. I have left my email address there, so you can email me and ask me for, a pricing list and other details that you might be interested in. Aside from that, and speaking of readings, I also have a link in the video description, for reviews that I have gotten for private readings before. So again, if you're curious to see them, I used to do readings for free on a channel ages ago, some years ago. And I saved the reviews that I got anonymously, right, from people that I did anonymous readings for. And yeah, if you're curious, go ahead and check them out. Might help you decide if you want to get a reading from me. Aside from that, if you would like to support my channel further and also have access to more content, check out the membership section by clicking on the join button under any of my videos. If you click on the join button, it will show you the prices in your local currency. And you can also, I think, see the members only videos that I posted so far if you search for membership or member, something like that, on my channel. And yeah, go ahead and check them out. Of course, I would greatly appreciate it. And it would also give you extra content. Aside from that, if you would like to support my channel further, you can do so by, of course, leaving a tip through the $ button under any of my videos. Or, of course, you can help me a lot by sharing this video with people that you know are interested in astrology, or sharing my channel or other videos on my channel. Sorry, not astrology. Well, astrology as well, actually. But tarot, especially. And speaking of astrology, last but not least, I do have a astrology channel that is called Martine. I will be linking it in the video description as well. I focus mainly on Vedic astrology there, but also with some tropical insights. I have more than 10 years of experience in reading horoscopes from the Vedic perspective, and more than 10 years of reading in tropical before that. Overall, more than 20 years. I have been heavily into astrology since I was 15. And now I am 37, yes. And aside from that, I also use a lot of insights from a lot of astrological systems. I also use insights from numerology. I like to focus on practical applications. This is why in my videos, I use a lot of horoscopes of famous people. I use a lot of practical examples, like I said, also throughout this video. So basically, I like to look at the different ways that astrology influences people on a regular basis from multiple perspectives. But I have a ton of videos on my astrology channel, over 350, I think, last time I checked. I don't know if it reached 350, but definitely over 300. Well, I have been posting there since 2016. I also have members only videos there as well. So anyway, if you're curious about astrology, and I was going to say this, I do a lot of videos that talk about relationships and how to read the spouse archetype, the kind of people that are compatible to you, etc., etc., and also how different aspects in synastry in between two people's horoscopes impact the two people psychologically, how they play out, etc. Okay, so if you're curious about astrology, go ahead and check it out. Maybe subscribe to my astrology channel. I would greatly appreciate it. Thank you very much for listening, and I hope to see you at my next tarot reading. Bye! Welcome, pile number 3. This is your reading if you have chosen this card with All is Connected and or this Tiger's Eye crystal. This is going to be the card selection phase. I am going to add timestamps so you can skip directly to the interpretation. Let's see. Spirit, tell me about pile number 3. What will be their future spouse's first impressions of them? Oh, very positive already. Okay, we have 2 of Wands, we have 9 of Pentacles, 3 of Wands, 10 of Wands, 5 of Cups, and the Sun. Okay, let's see. Spirit, tell me about pile number 3. What will be their future spouse's first impression of pile number 3? Holy moly, pile number 3. Okay, we have 8 of Pentacles, 4 of Swords, King of Wands, the Tower, the Hierophant, the 6 of Wands. Let me get some oracle cards. Spirit, tell me about pile number 3. What is their future spouse's first impression of them going to be learning? Number 4. Okay. Spirit, what is pile number 3's future spouse's first impression of pile number 3? Oh, wow. Cat, independent. You are a natural healer. Your intuition is strong. You don't have to go with the crowd. Life supports you in every way. Cute. And let me read the description for this card over here. Number 12, which is Jupiterian energy. All is connected. Let me read the description. Just a moment. Innovation, transformation, growth, release. A girl sits on a tree trunk and holds leaves in her hands while others blow away in the wind. A small spider holds a few leaves together with his fine filament, even though the wind threatens to tear them apart. Don't be afraid of changes. Release your fear by letting go. Change is hard and often painful, but it is the only way to grow. You may drift, but you will never lose yourself. Life goes on and nothing ends. It is reshaped into something new by the wind. Not better or worse, but different, and in that change lies wonder and openings. This is very fascinating to me because you do have the Tower, which is about changes to some extent. I'm going to hold that thought, actually. But with this thing about change, and this is the path here, I'm suddenly getting that song in my head, The Winds of Change. I think it's by the Scorpions. I don't remember the lyrics, but you know what I'm talking about. The vibe here is that, well, I'm getting 2 vibes at the same time. This person sees you as pretty unfazed on the one hand, and at the same time, right, they can see you as someone who is not easily rattled. You know, like someone who life can throw you around and hit, throw you like surprises, but you land on your feet. I was gonna say land on your feet just like a cat. Also makes me think of Maggie the cat, that character from Cat on a Hot Tin Roof, played by, I think, Elizabeth Taylor. Like you're someone who, I think this person sees you as very perseverant, someone who is, kind of quietly and steadily minding your own business, doing your own thing. Like you're not easily deterred from your path. This is the vibe, especially with this 4 of Swords coming out. And then we have the number 4 here again. Number 4 in numerology is connected to stability. Someone who's solid, dependable. But let me unpack things. So we have the 2 of Wands here. We have the 2 of Wands, and we have the 8 of Pentacles. I'm going to get clarifications. I do have ideas right off the bat, but I want to get some more messages maybe. Please clarify the 2 of Wands for me, Spirit. Please clarify that 2 of Wands for me. This, really? Seven of Swords. Please clarify that. Eight of Pentacles. Four of Wands. So this person sees you as, now the Two of Wands was particularly interesting to me because it carries a message of, on the one hand, hesitation, and on the other hand, there's this message of a second try. And that was the part that I was interested in. And we have that Eight of Pentacles underneath, which makes me feel, this could be very specific, but for some of you, this person could see you when you are trying something for the second time. Now, this could be that this person only notices you the second time that they see you, but I would say that's less likely because that's not 100% the scope of the reading. This is about first impressions, right? That could be a possibility, but another possibility is the fact that you're someone who, I don't know, maybe you are trying a career, you're giving a second chance to your career, for instance. It could be the second time that you get a job at the same company. It could be you're getting into university for, you're trying to get into university for the second time. You're taking the admission exam for the second time. You're taking your driver's license for the second time, right? So these could all be potential circumstances surrounding how this person sees you for the first time. This is one message. And the other one, which is equally likely, if not even more likely, is that they see you as someone who is trying something, like you're trying at something, you're giving something a second try. Like, again, you're working hard because you were given a second chance at something, at achieving something you want. That is one thing. But then at the same time, with the Two of Wands and that Seven of Swords, especially with the message that came from the Oracle card, right? There's this feeling of a vibe of hesitation about you. This person could see you as someone who is very cautious, especially with that Seven of Swords. You're not cautious out of fear, you're cautious out of strategy. So they see you as someone who carefully ponders all of the pros and cons, right, of a situation before making a decision, before taking action. They see you as someone who is very deliberate. And that Eight of Pentacles shows me that, especially with that Four of Wands underneath, it shows me that this person sees you as someone who works hard, right? So you work hard with that Eight of Pentacles. You are someone who is very good at something. They see you as someone who's good at your craft, whatever that craft may be. And the Four of Wands makes me think that they see you as someone who works hard for your family. And now, again, depends on what situation this could be. Like, maybe you're someone who already has children, so they would think that you work hard for your children. But this could be because of family pressures, right? If you're especially a younger person, they see you as someone who is trying to make your family proud. And I know this is very specific, but it does come through, so I have to say it. And there is another scenario, and I have to look at all possibilities because, again, this is a general reading. I might get more messages as I go along that point towards one interpretation or the other, but for the most part, this is about this person seeing you as working hard at your craft to be successful. And I think also to build security in your life. I think they see you as someone who likes to stay on the safe side of things. And especially with that, all is connected, right? This is like, I know they see a lot through a lot of, like, I get these comments whenever I do these readings, like, wow, this person really sees a lot about me from a first impression. Yeah, because, when I say they see a lot about you, it may not, you have to understand that a lot of impressions, when a person sees someone for the first time, are stored in the subconscious. So it's not like they may consciously think all of this within a split second, but people draw conclusions on others based on, you know, what circumstances they see them in, how this person looks, how they portray themselves, how they talk. Every little thing about a person gives you information about that person, right? So all of those things form a first impression. Just wanted to clarify. But they see you as someone who's building security, someone who's working towards success. And I think they also see you as someone who's really professional, like conservative even. Maybe that's a good word. Nine of Pentacles with the Four of Swords. This one is really fascinating. And I have to say, with the cat, with the sun, I wonder if you have placement in Purva Falguni. And the reason I thought about this is because Purva Falguni is, on the one hand, connected to creativity, sensuality. It is ruled by Venus. It falls in sidereal Leo, so it is connected to, you know, cat energy, that a little bit of a Leo. Of course, cat could also be Ashlesha Nakshatra. Sorry, was it Ashlesha or no? I think Punarvasu. And yeah, I think the other one was Ashlesha that had cat as a yoni. Whichever two nakshatras have the cat yoni, you know, that could be, you could have placements in those. But I think it was Ashlesha and Punarvasu. Punarvasu is definitely one of them. I think the other one was Ashlesha, but I'm not 100% sure. Anyway, now Purva Falguni is also a potential influence, and a lot of famous actors and singers, especially very famous singers and good singers, have Purva Falguni placements. And a lot of beautiful women throughout history. It is a nakshatra that is connected to sensuality. It's actually associated to the archetype of the courtesan. And it's also symbolized by a bed. And not necessarily because of its connection to sensuality, but also because in equal measure, it is connected to resting and leisure time. Okay, so Purva Falguni is basically, for lack of a better way to put it, a nakshatra that does have a tendency towards laziness, right? And they like to take their time to, kind of like a cat, you know, cleaning itself. They enjoy doing nothing, just like Italians say, dolce far niente, right? But Purva Falguni, it's not to say that they're just a bunch of lazy slobs. They definitely have that tendency to be lazy more than probably any other nakshatra. Just like a cat will, you know, like, you know how cats on average, they will sleep like, I think 16 hours a day. But that's because of their nature. That's how they're built biologically. They're nocturnal, they hunt, so they need to spend a lot of time resting. But Purva Falguni has this ability to achieve a lot without a lot of effort. Or they do things effortlessly that other people find complicated. For instance, this is why this nakshatra is very much connected to the arts, to creativity, because in order to be creative in any way, you have to have a lot of time to just enjoy yourself, to express yourself. I mean, you can't just, for instance, if you're, I don't know, a singer, right? If you don't have your own experiences, if you don't take time to work on your craft, right? It takes a lot of time to create an artwork, whatever it may be. You're not going to have the best quality art, right? So Purva Falguni is the type that needs a lot of breaks in between work, because in those breaks, they live, they enjoy life, right? They go through different experiences. They get in touch with their subconscious. They rest. And once they have rested, they produce their artwork, right? They create. And for instance, Madonna is a very famous Purva Falguni, right? Ascendant and moon in Purva Falguni. Nowadays, Rosalia, the Spanish singer, is a very famous moon in Purva Falguni. And this is my personal opinion, not the typical opinion of the Vedic astrology community, according to traditional Vedic astrology. But if you're curious about this, actually, I keep opening parentheses in parentheses. Sorry, bear with me. I was going to say, according to me, nakshatras matter even in the Navamsha, or the 9th divisional chart, as it is called, or the 9th harmonic chart, as it would be called according to tropical astrology. And it's not a popular opinion because according to a lot of Vedic astrologers, nakshatras should not be taken into account into divisional charts. However, my experience of over 10 years now of reading countless horoscopes has proven the opposite. And that is that nakshatras are very, very relevant in divisional charts. And what I have noticed, for instance, is just as the moon in the natal horoscope is seen as, the basis of one's personality according to Vedic, and the nakshatra of the moon in the D1 or the natal chart is seen as very important. In equal measure, I would say the nakshatra of the moon in the D9 or the Navamsha chart definitely shows a lot of insight into a person's inner core. In fact, if anything, the Navamsha is closer to the true essence of a person, especially, and I would say this is why there is the traditional interpretation that the Navamsha placements are particularly active once a person gets married, and if they don't get married, they become particularly active after midlife, which, is a relative age, but nowadays mostly people take that to be 35. What I have noticed definitely is that the nakshatra becomes more and more prominent, the nakshatra of the Navamsha, right, especially of the moon's nakshatra and the Navamsha, becomes particularly influential once a person gets older, especially after the age of 35. And I said all of this because, for instance, Marilyn Monroe had moon in Purva Falguni in her Navamsha. And I think in her case, it was extremely obvious. The influence of Purva Falguni was very obvious, even though this nakshatra did not show up in her natal horoscope. And it's, she was the embodiment of this nakshatra, a woman who was very known for her beauty, for her sensuality, that men projected fantasies upon. I remember this had, like little skits in her movies, even though she herself was anything but lazy. But she also, had moments where she talked about how she enjoyed, lingering in bed in the morning, how she did exercise, but she did not push herself that far with exercise because she believed in balance, right? So all of those things. And again, despite the fact that, yes, she was naturally a very, very good looking woman, but her weight fluctuated. Even when she was towards her highest weight, she still was seen as incredibly beautiful and incredibly attractive. And this was, well, I would say, among other things, it was also due to her Purva Falguni energy, which is a naturally very sensuous energy, okay? Especially when it's on the moon, especially in a woman's horoscope, because in a woman's horoscope, the moon really shows how she expresses her femininity, all right, her feminine essence. Very big parenthesis, I'm closing it, but I think that, I was moved to talk about this for a reason, because it is very much, I feel, how this person sees you. And speaking of Ashlesha, by the way, Marilyn Monroe also had ascendant in Ashlesha. Ashlesha is also an nakshatra that is known to be sensuous, but in a different way than Purva Falguni. Not as purely sensuous. Purva Falguni, because of its association to the courtesan, is a naturally very sensuous energy. So these are the kinds of people that even when they don't wear makeup, even when they gain weight, there will be something about them that other people will look at and think, oh my God, this person is good in bed. I'm sorry to say this. I actually have a video, if you're curious, on my astrology channel called Astro-Martine. I will be linking it in the video description, where I talk about the Venus ruled nakshatras, including Purva Falguni. And I talk about how a lot of famous people, right, a lot of people that you will see who have prominent placements in Purva Falguni are oftentimes, sadly, the targets of unwanted attention and being objectified. Even the men, okay? Went through some examples in that video, even of famous men that I heard talking about how they felt objectified, right? Because people tend to pick up this vibe about them, that there's something very sensuous, something very warm and attractive about them, right? This is why this nakshatra is symbolized by the bed. There's something about these people that invite people to think about sensuality, about enjoyment. And this is also why they're very, very creative, because they love beauty. They're naturally creative, right? They, especially among singers, because this nakshatra is ruled by Venus, which rules the voice. So, you know, a lot of very strong singers have powerful Purva Falguni influence. And the reason I talked about all of this is because that Nine of Pentacles with that Four of Swords underneath really sends me this Purva Falguni energy, right? So in the sense that, you know, Four of Swords is about resting, but Nine of Pentacles is about productivity. So there seems to be this dichotomy here, right? This kind of paradoxical pairing of energies. But this really gives me a vibe that you are someone who maybe has a bit of a Midas touch, right? Like you're someone who comes across as abundant, maybe even when you're not stressing out all the time, even when you're not working as hard as other people. Although this person does see you working towards your craft, there's something about you, right, where even when you don't work very hard, you still have the resources you need, and you're probably very clever about working. That's another thing, right? So you have this ability to work smarter, not harder. And maybe this is a principle that you live by. And also, there's a lot of natural stuff here. Because again, Purva Falguni is a naturally attractive energy. So it makes me think that you're someone who comes across as effortlessly attractive. Okay? Even if you're not conventionally attractive in the most conventional sense, there's just something about you that makes you attractive. And I think this person sees you as the kind of person that a lot of people will find attractive, okay? And we have that Three of Wands, we have the King of Wands. So there is a very strong sun energy, repeated sun energy here with that King of Wands, with the sun. And now with the third position, since this is your future spouse's first impressions of you, this could be how they actually see potential obstacles in your path, or what might be potential setbacks when it comes to your personality and the way they perceive you. But it could at the same time show what they see as obstacles in your path to becoming a couple. So in other words, obstacles that they see are getting in their way and potentially preventing you, things that might prevent them actually from pursuing you or pursuing this relationship. Now, the Three of Wands is a very clear message that there might be a distance between you. Now, this could be a physical distance. Maybe they live far away from you, which also makes me believe that maybe the first time they see you could be online, or could be, again, or they see you during a travel, right? Some kind of traveling going on. But could be that there is a physical distance, could be that there is a psychological distance, or some kind of obstacle from reality that might prevent this relationship from happening. Maybe there's a very big cultural difference between the two of you. So you could be from the same city, you could be living in the same city, but I don't know, one of you is Christian, the other one is Jewish or something. Or there's some kind of significant ethnic background, right? You don't speak the same language at home, etc. Three of Wands could also mean distance, like there's something very unusual about this connection, like one of you is much older than the other. That could also be a possibility. Yeah, all kinds of things. So there could be this distance, right? So there's a distance, a perceived distance. Now, when it comes to the person, when it comes to how this person might perceive things that are getting in your way, this is equally telling, if not even more telling, because you have the Two of Wands in the first position, then you have the Three of Wands in opposition. So clearly, especially coupled with the messages that came through this card, this person sees you as someone who hesitates a little bit too much. Now, I maybe, again, considering all the messages that came through, do think that for some of you, this person might actually see you as a little bit too lazy. Like they might see you as a little bit too comfort loving, okay? Because that Two of Wands, like I said, does potentially connect to hesitation. So they do see you as someone who maybe might spend way too much time weighing the pros and cons, And because of that, you might be missing out on opportunities. The Three of Wands speaks of the fact that maybe you're not willing to get out of your comfort zone as often as you should, right? This is how they might see you. And that King of Wands underneath, again, makes me think that you could be using a little bit more confidence potentially. Like the King of Wands energy is very leadership oriented. A lot of Leo energy, right? And the sun, which rules Leo, is about leadership. It's about confidence. It's about having the courage to be yourself and leading by example. So this person feels like these are the things that you should be cultivating more, because this is what would lead you to success. But at the same time, again, if you look at it from the perspective of what might be getting in the way of them pursuing you initially, on top of potential distance happening, we also have that King of Wands energy, which makes me think that this person, now this is where it gets interesting, because for some of you, this could be that they're afraid of your ego. And then for some of you, they're actually afraid, and this would take a higher level of perception, I would say, but they're afraid that you might have too low confidence or too low of a self-esteem to respond favorably to their advances. Take this how it resonates. I am very curious to hear the feedback in the comment section. I know these are specific messages, and I know that I gave several interpretations, but this is because, again, a general reading, I have to look at all the potential options. And now this could look like, for instance, if they perceive you, let me give you an example. Like, let's say maybe this is the kind of person that conventionally is more attractive than you, or you think that they would be perceived as more attractive. And maybe in some sense, they have a higher social status, right? Maybe it's not about how attractive they are, but maybe they come from a higher social background. Maybe they make more money, etc., right? So from that perspective, I think they might be afraid that you would think you're not good enough for them, or you would be the kind of person that, how should I put it? Yeah, you might think that, you might question their motive somehow. You might be sitting there thinking like, why is this person interested in me? And again, this scenario, I'm willing to bet, is less likely because it would require a very, I would say, high level of emotional intelligence to perceive this kind of stuff about a person, especially if you don't know them well. But just as likely, by the way, that this person is put off by your ego. Okay, so they might see you as someone who has a strong sense of pride, a strong sense of ego. They see you as someone who maybe is a little bit too self-involved, in the sense that you are just focused on doing your own thing, and that maybe you're not open to relationships, because the sun energy is very self-reliant. This is why, and again, I'm opening another astrology parenthesis. In astrology, people who are sun dominant, and this is again based on my empirical observation mostly, and a little bit on traditional theory, that the sun dominant tend to struggle in relationships, especially women who are sun dominant, because their path in life is very much connected to developing themselves, developing leadership abilities, developing self-expression and authenticity. All of these basically qualities that, according to most societies for most of human history, were associated with masculinity, not so much femininity. And so this is why women who are sun dominant, even in today's world, tend to struggle to find decent relationships and meaningful, relationships with partners who actually accept them for who they are. But again, closing the parenthesis, again, if you're curious, I have actually touched upon this subject in videos that I posted on my astrology channel. But the bottom line is, this person is somehow your ego issue somehow, whether it's like too much ego, too little ego, or too little pride, or should I say an unhealthy sense of pride might be the issue with respect to why this person at first might feel a little bit anxious about approaching you, Then we have that 10 of Wands. We have the Tower underneath. So this is the past, okay? So this is what they think has happened in your life up until the point where they see you. Now the Tower, and again, the 10 of Wands, this is actually very similar to one of the other groups. I'm not going to say which one, but if you feel drawn to one of them, definitely check them out. If not, you will get all the messages that you need through this reading, all right? But the 10 of Wands and the Tower shows that this person sees you as someone who has been through some shit, basically, right? 10 of Wands is an energy of basically feeling like you are alone in the world and carrying all of the sky on your shoulders, right? So it feels, there's this vibe of, on the one hand, there is a vibe of success, right? So there's this message of making it. But on the other hand, it's coming at a cost. It's coming through a lot of struggle, a lot of hard work, a lot of loneliness, right? A lot of lack of support. And the Tower underneath, especially, makes me think that this person sees you as a self-made individual, right? So they understand and they respect the fact that you have achieved things through your own efforts and that you have really overcome some stuff. You know, they have a vibe about you that you have been through some heavy experiences and came out on top, basically. I want to get some clarification, actually. Please clarify the Tower because I'm curious about this. Four of Cups. Again, didn't the Four of Cups come out? No, it didn't come out. No, it didn't. The Five of Cups came. Please clarify the 10 of Wands. Justice. Oh, wow. Oh, wow. This person, now this is definitely more specific. And again, since this is a first impression reading, this would definitely be very, I would say, far-fetched. But depending on what culture you're coming from, maybe this is there's a way to kind of pick this up when you don't know a person very well. But this person may see you as someone who is divorced, someone who has already been through some heavy, or at least someone who has gone through like serious betrayals in relationships, okay? And or this could be like they see that you have gone through some heavy karma, like a lot of things that you didn't really have control over that, you know, took a toll on you. And there might be this vibe, you know, of like toughness about you. And then we have that Four of Cups with the Tower. Now that I see the Four of Cups, I think that this person sees you as someone who has had a change of heart, a change of mind about something. So again, there's like this repeated theme going back to that Two of Wands that showed up in the initial position here. There is this repeated theme that this person sees you around the time, or again, this may not be that they know that you're going through a second try, but they come into your life around the time when you are trying something for the second time, or you're like having a second go at something. Like I said in the beginning, this could be in the most broad general sense. This could just be like you're giving a life a second chance. Like maybe you went through a really dark time, or you went through, you know, some people, right? They realize when they're much later in life, right? I don't know, that they have been on the wrong path in life and they want to change everything around. They want to turn everything around. They want to do a 180, right? They want to start over in a different way. They move to a different place. They, I don't know, like I said, could get a job in a totally different field. You know, you're taking up a new career. You're learning new things. So this is like a repeated theme already, that this person could come into your life around the time when you're starting over, because there's this repeated message that this person sees you as someone who is having a second go at something, like you're starting over from something. And then with the Four of Cups, there is this like theme about thinking in particular, like that you have had a massive change of mindset at some point in the past, right? And since this is like, and I have to say, this is a message that came through, and it's a definite possibility because of all the messages and stuff that has come through up until this point, that they see you as a bit of a late bloomer, maybe, you know, because like I was talking about that Purva Falguni energy, like maybe they see you as someone who hasn't been the most serious or the most mature person up until recent history when they see you. Like, they see you as someone who is just growing up or growing into themselves and basically committing to something for the first time in a long time. Yeah. And again, this could even be, although I don't have messages about addiction here, but it is a possibility. Like, I don't know, they meet you in rehab, or they meet you at some situation where they know that you're a recovering addict or you're recovering from something. And so they see that desire to turn your life around, okay? It's a repeated theme. And then we have that Five of Cups, okay? And we have that, wait, one more thing that I wanted to say. If this is not in a very, like, real pragmatic sense connected to you having a second try at something, although, like I said, this is a strong message, and I'm sure that it's the case for a lot of you. The Justice, right, with that Four of Cups, just shows that you're someone who's very fair. Like, they see you as someone who, up until the point where they see you, and they think that you have a history, right, of being a very fair person, someone who does things the right way. You have a strong sense of justice, okay? Aside from that, okay, we have that Five of Cups, and we have the Hierophant, okay? Let me get, again, I want to get clarification. Please clarify the Hierophant. Oh my gosh. Please clarify the Five of Cups. Queen of Swords. Now, yes, this is definitely a very strong confirmation of what I talked about. Very strong confirmation, especially with this Five of Cups and Queen of Swords. So they see that you are now a very mentally mature person. But at the same time, they see that this has not always been the case. Like, somehow I'm sorry, if you're hearing weird grumbling, that's my stomach. They see you as a mature person, like someone who is, and also you're heading, so you're not quite there, but they see you as someone heading towards that Queen of Swords energy, heading towards that maturity, that confidence, that clarity of mind. And also they see, so you're already displaying traits of that Queen of Swords, but they see you becoming even more of this as time progresses, right? So the Queen of Swords is a very no-nonsense person, a person who is very sure of their own judgment, who is confident in making decisions, someone who's the opposite of wishy-washy or wavering, right? Someone who, basically the opposite of hesitation. So they kind of see you coming into that self-confidence in the future. And that Five of Cups energy basically shows that they see that you don't want to repeat the same mistakes. They see that you want to make the most of the opportunities in front of you, right? Because Five of Cups is this card of not crying over spilled milk, because in the traditional Rider-Waite, there's that image of this person who has 5 cups on the ground, and I think 2 of them are standing and the other 3 are spilled. They're on the ground and the content is spilled. And so there's this message of, and the person looks towards them in a sad way. And there's this message of, like, stop crying over spilled milk, stop thinking about the things that the woulda, coulda, shoulda things, right, of your life, and instead choose to make the most of what you have, and also recognize the opportunities in front of you. And I just realized this. Oh my God. This is, like, again, this is a repeated theme. So I think this is probably like the 4th time that I'm getting this idea that this person may have seen you before, when you, like, even though this is a first impression, it could be that this is not the first, like, it could be that you, again, maybe you see this person for the first time first. That could be a possibility. And then they see you later. So maybe you notice them first, but they notice you later. That could be a thing. Or it could be the other way around. That could be a possibility. I don't think it's definitely not for everyone, but it could be a thing like that. But the reason I was thinking about this, especially with the Queen of Swords, irrespective of whether that is the scenario, in general, the Queen of Swords and that Five of Cups makes me think that this person hopes that you will have a change of heart. And number 1. And number 2, makes me think that this person, when they see you, for whatever reason, without getting too philosophical, they think it's not the right time to approach you. Now, for whatever reason, I cannot be able to, I won't be able to say exactly why, but they may take a bit to approach you for some reason. They want to be cautious, right? They want to be rational about it. And they hope that you will see them for, the opportunity that they are, I think. Not even an opportunity. I really think that this person, again, I looked into all this like psychological stuff and I still stand by it. Like, I think for, this person somehow perceives potential obstacles in the path of the two of you, And so I think this person sees that they need to give you time, like they hope that in the future, after they see you for the first time, they will have an opportunity to make a move towards you. And because you will be ready, you will be more, maybe less self-absorbed, maybe more open, maybe less sad in some ways. Again, this could also be like they see you as a little bit sad, maybe. Yeah, but here we have, look at this positivity going on here. We have the Hierophant, we have the Two of Cups underneath as a clarification. So this person, this shows me, okay, right off the bat, this person, again, this is a message that to some extent, but in slightly different ways, did come through, I think, with every pile, I think. Which makes sense, because this is a future spouse thing. But I think this person, right off the bat, right, they know that they want to marry you. So they hope to marry you, okay? Because we have the Hierophant, we have the Two of Cups underneath. So this person is hoping that in the future, you will form an equal relationship. So the Two of Cups is not, so equal not in the sense that you always split the bills necessarily, but equal in the sense that you are approaching each other from an equal level. Like you both recognize each other as a partner and you are equally invested and you're equally responsible and you're equally respectful of one another, right? So I really feel like there's this background situation, a difference here between the two of you, because this person sees this, and this, again, it's a repeated theme, that somehow it might be an obstacle, like your different backgrounds are an obstacle. Maybe, like I said, could be an age difference, could be a cultural difference. Reminds me of this joke that I heard in, I think it was like in the early 2000s. I was watching a stand-up show by Chris Rock, and he was cracking jokes about soulmates, and he said, like, everybody wants a soulmate, you're not going to get a soulmate. The best thing you're going to get in this life, if you're lucky, is a mate, someone to sleep with and go to the movies with, etc. And then he said at some point, you're not going to meet the perfect person. Even if you meet the perfect person, it's not going to be the perfect time. They're married, you're single, they're Jewish, you're Palestinian. I think he went on to say, you're a black man, he's a black, you're a black woman, he's a black man. Cracked all kinds of jokes, basically, about how people, in astrology, by the way, I actually did videos about this on my astrology channel. There are certain placements in synastry and also in the natal horoscope that show a tendency towards these kinds of potentially controversial relationships, right? Especially when you have North Node in the 7th house or North Node connected to a lot of the relationship signifiers, as I would call them, in the natal horoscope. There is this theme of controversy in relationships, So again, I really think that for some reason this person, thinks it's a good thing to kind of give it time, to take it slow. But they definitely want to marry you. I mean, look at that. They want to have the full package. They want the romance, and they want to take you to church or whatever their thing is, right? If they're a Wiccan, they want to take you to a forest, I guess, so you can sacrifice people together. That was a bad joke, sorry. But, that Hierophant shows they hope to make it legal. They know right off the bat, yes, I want to marry this person. I want to marry this person, but something in the timing is not right, okay? However, again, if you are to also look at it from the perspective of how they perceive your evolution, the Hierophant shows that this person, especially with the sun, and I definitely think this is a possibility for a lot of you, they see you as having the potential to be a very good teacher, someone who guides others, whether it's a spiritual teacher, whether it's a, whether you're going to be a teacher in a conventional sense. I think they see you as someone who would be very smart, very wise, guiding people, in times of darkness or times of turmoil. So they see a lot of leadership potential in you and they admire that. And now the Sun and the Six of Wands as an outcome. And oh my God, you also have learning here. I just realized, yeah, with the number 4, makes me think of the 4th house, which also has to do with education. So you could definitely have met this person, or they could have seen you again when you were in high school or even younger, or it could be any kind of educational situation. And, or they see you as very focused on learning, very focused on developing your mind, on teaching. Again, maybe you actually are a teacher for some of you. But they see you as someone who could do even better, right? Like you could be a really great teacher, even a leader, someone who's like an intellectual leader. And then we have the Sun, yeah, the Six of Wands. I mean, look at this. Look at this. You know what this means? Perfect victory. And this is the outcome. And so again, on the one hand, I think this person sees you as someone who is heading towards a very bright future. And or they see you as someone they could have a very bright future with. And I think most likely it's both of them at the same time in this situation. So they see you as like, yes, this is it. This is my queen. This is my, oh my God, I just realized. This guy actually makes me think of Jon Snow from, I mean, look at, tell me that this doesn't kind of look like Jon Snow from Game of Thrones. It kind of does from a distance. I mean, it's a combination between Jon Snow and Jesus. I can't really tell. But I'm sure he was meant to be some kind of Roman something because based on the attire. Anyway, right? So we have that Six of Wands, that victory, and the Sun. Okay? Makes me think, and again, because the Sun is the queen/king archetype, makes me think of how Jon Snow said, you will always be my queen. Especially with all the Leo energy. Oh my gosh. Pile number 3. I would be very surprised if you did not have some very strong Sun and or Leo placements, okay? You could also have placements in the Sun-dominated nakshatras. So Kritika, Uttara Falguni, Uttara Ashadha. Yeah, because... And or again, the Sun could be very prominent in your horoscope. Maybe you have a lot of Leo. Maybe you have the Sun in the 1st house. Sun aspecting a lot of planets in your horoscope. Yeah, I won't get too much into details, but the Sun is most likely prominent in your horoscope. However, I wouldn't be surprised if a lot of you here paradoxically also had what would be called in astrology to be a pretty damaged Sun or a weak Sun, right? So you could have a lot of placements in the Sun, but the Sun itself could be damaged. Like, again, don't want to get too much into theory. There are certain placements that you can see in astrology, right? And a weak Sun could show, on the one hand, even though, let's say, things like creativity, because if the Sun is very influential in your horoscope, you have a lot of Sun placements, Sun is prominent, again, placements in Leo, etc. It means that themes surrounding the Sun, maybe some of you even have Sun is Atmakarka, by the way, which means your destiny is about cultivating the Sun qualities, right? So themes surrounding the Sun are things connected to leading by example, teaching, learning to be genuine, authentic, to have self-respect, to have a healthy sense of pride, to follow your heart's desire, to follow your passion, right? All of those things could be a theme, but then if the Sun is damaged, it shows issues surrounding, self-esteem. You could be going back and forth between, on the one hand, being too prideful sometimes, and other times lack confidence, or, it could be a bad timing. Like you could be confident about all the wrong things, and not confident about things you should be confident about, etc., etc. So creates issues surrounding ego, self-esteem, self-confidence, especially, things surrounding the right to be yourself, right? Self-expression, feeling accepted and loved for who you are, all of those things, etc., right? But I think based on this, so more than the other two piles, don't tell them, this relationship gives me a very strong feeling of the two of you becoming kind of a power couple, becoming stronger together than you would be in a million years, you know, just being by yourselves, basically. So you two becoming a very strong unit, basically. This is the vibe that I'm getting. Okay, let me get the astro cards. I don't know why, but your reading took me a long time. Like, I really took my time. Anyway, Spirit, tell me about pile number 3. What is pile number 3's future spouse's first impressions of them? Okay. Oh, bingo. Bingo in some ways, and in many ways, actually. So we have Mercury, all right? I did say Ashlesha. I did say Jyeshta. Revati could also be a thing, because those nakshatras are ruled by Mercury in Vedic astrology. But you could also have a prominent Mercury, okay? Makes sense with the learning card as well, because Mercury is first of all, it's a youthful energy. It's also a very curious energy. It's kind of the energy of the apprentice, of someone who is perpetually open to learning, who kind of maintains a healthy sense of curiosity throughout life. There could also be a lot of youthfulness about you, right? So I have to say, with the late bloomer phase and stuff and the youthfulness, for some people, this person could see you as a little bit of a Peter Pan, you know, kind of like, even if you're a woman, you know, someone who is, I don't want to say like, you know, I don't want to say, I don't know, immature, but I guess someone who maybe by social standards could be seen as a little bit immature, you know, someone who is very, very youthful, not really ready to grow up in the socially traditional sense, you know, like maybe you are past a certain age, but you still watch cartoons or something. Although, again, considering the fact that this is a first impression, would be hard for them to see that. But somehow, something about you is very youthful, very curious, and also very intellectual. Could be that they see you as a little bit nerdy as well. That is a possibility. Now we have that Sagittarius energy. So Sagittarius is, again, that makes sense with that 3 of Wands energy. I think this person, but considering the rest of the spread, this person sees you as someone who is pretty open-minded, willing to study, willing to learn, right? Someone who has a broad view of the world. Maybe someone who has traveled a little bit, you know, someone who has seen quite a bit of the world. A bit of a adventurer in some ways, having a thirst for exploration. But considering the rest of the cards, like I said, I think this person also sees that you're someone who's brimming with a lot of curiosity that you have not fully explored yet. So again, really takes me back to that 2 of Wands, where they might be thinking that you're someone who, oh my god, my stomach is, it might just devour me by the end of this video. I don't know if you could hear it, but it's making some really weird noises. Anyway, where was I? Yeah. So I think they have this feeling that you have not explored anywhere near as much as you wanted to, because you have had hesitations or you were afraid to get out of your shell. And so I think since this is coming through in this first impressions, I think this is again, it's a strong vibe that this person fantasizes that you would like to travel with them and that maybe you could explore together. And then we have that second house of resources. So this is Taurus energy, okay? Also, I was going to say this because, like, oh my god, I just realized that number 12 in and of itself, okay, so this is Jupiter energy. So you did have Sagittarius, that's kind of a confirmation. But the number 12 in itself is not just Jupiterian, because we have a combination of the 1 and the 2. And this is, again, number 1 is the sun, number 2 is the moon. So I think this is very telling, because in and of itself, number 12 kind of talks about the need to balance between individuality and connection. And And it could also be seen as this kind of wavering back and forth between sometimes maybe being too much in your moon energy and sometimes being too much in your sun energy. So again, this kind of maybe even an inconstancy, like something this person could see you as someone who's like difficult to pin down, you know, someone who is kind of like a Quicksilver sort of energy, okay, at least mentally, if not physically, right? In the sense that one day you could be, but again, this is first impressions, but yeah, there could be something about you that is moody, you know, that's something that comes across as moody, like, you know, maybe they watch you throughout 1 hour in a social context and they notice that, you know, you switch from being in a good mood to being in a bad mood within a split second, or you know, you are talkative with one person but very quiet around another one, etc., right? Even though they're both strangers to you, right? Or something like that. So there could be like this, you know, up and down vibe about you that you're difficult to pin down. I was getting oh my God, especially since I have the wind here, I was getting that song by Patrick Swayze. She's like the wind in my blah blah blah. I don't remember what it was. But again, you can look for the song, maybe listen to it. This could be like a vibe that this could be how this person feels when they look at you, you know, the way that Patrick Swayze sang that song. Anyway, and then we have that second house, like I was saying. So second house is about family of origin. It's about self-esteem. Oh my gosh, it is about self-esteem. It's also about the face. So it makes me think that the first thing that this person will notice about you is the face. Could also be the voice. Could be both of them at the same time. So because the second house is connected to Taurus, which rules the voice, rules the throat and the face. So everything connected to the throat and the face. And so this person could really notice your face at first, like I said, or your voice, or both of them. And they could really like that. But then second house also can be connected to how you meet this person or how they see you for the first time. And second house is family of origin. So you could meet through your family or their family. Or again, second house can also be about food. Maybe this person sees you as a little bit of a foodie as well. And second house can also be about, you know, you can, maybe they see you for the first time at a restaurant or at a dietitian or a course on diet or something, or nutrition, right? So anything connected to nourishment, food, that could be the second house. Second house in a roundabout way, and this is something that I have noticed empirically, it's not coming from a traditional text, can also be connected to psychology. So maybe they see you at a therapist's office for the first time, or I don't know, a course in psychology, or when you're both studying psychology in university or something like that. And sextile chance and opportunity. Ooh, this really kind of confirms what I said initially, that this person sees you as an opportunity, but at the same time, they're afraid to, you know, miss you as an opportunity, but at the same time they are not 100% like determined to make a move from the first time that they see you. So I think for you, this is not a message that came through, I don't think, for any other of the other two piles. But I really think for you, there will be quite a gap between the first time they see you and the first time they talk to you. Like, they actually, not just talk to you, but the first time that they actually make any kind of interest known, right? And then, last but not least, we have the North Node of the Moon with new life goal. This is what the card says. So this is, on the one hand, that confirmation of everything I said, that it's like you're gonna meet this person around a new beginning, or they see you as someone who is just going through a new beginning, a new chapter in life, right? And on the other hand, they see you as a Rahuvian, okay? So a Rahuvian, this is a very strong confirmation of what I said, that you two might be coming from different cultures. So there could be a significant background difference, and or there could just be something really unconventional about this coupling. If you're curious, I have mentioned this before, I think. in this video. There is a video on my astrology channel that actually have multiple videos, but you can look for this one in particular, and the rest of them are probably recommended in the description. I did a video on my astrology channel, Astro-Martine, which I will be linking in the video description, that was something about controversial relationships or non-conforming relationships with Rahu, right? So Rahu is the biggest indicator of non-conforming, you know, eyebrow raising worthy relationships, the kind of couples where, especially for people who have a lot of Rahu surrounding their 7th house, or the signifier surrounding the spouse, you know, Rahu is conjunct the Dharkaraka, for instance, or it's conjunct Venus in a man's horoscope because Venus is the wife, or conjunct Mars or Jupiter in a woman's horoscope because those are connected to the husband archetypes, depending on which school you look at. Some of them look at Mars, others look at Jupiter. So if Rahu is strongly connected, you know, especially in repeated places of the horoscope to the spouse archetype, you could see these kinds of relationships that are very controversial in the eyes of society. You know, big age gaps, very big, you know, cultural differences. Just to give you an example, Grace Kelly had, I'm pretty sure, I'm not 100% sure, but I'm pretty sure she had Rahu in the 7th house. And Rahu in the 7th house is a very strong culprit, right, for unconventional relationships, but it's not the only one. And she married a man who was, you know, from a different country, a different language, totally different culture. These are usually the kinds of relationships that you see with Rahu. So there is this element. So Rahu in and of itself shows unconventionality in one word. A lot of the times it's also connected to cultural differences, but it can just be that you seem very unusual to this person. So there's something very unusual, very original, very individualistic, and very independent, right? And I think they also see you as a bit aloof potentially, but also brilliant, right? And I think aloof, again, is kind of like a repeated message, really. I think it came through when I was first reading, but I don't remember because it was an hour ago. Okay. So I pretty much have said everything I wanted to say, except I forgot the Astro dice. Spirit, tell me about pile number 3. What is their future spouse's first impression of them? Oh my gosh, we have Saturn. Not surprising. Not surprising at all. Saturn is also a co-ruler of Aquarius. We also have Pisces, okay? And we have the number 3, repeated energy of Jupiter. Now, the number 3 can also connect to the 3rd house, which corresponds to Mercury. And this is another thing, again, I actually did a video on my astrology channel, if you're curious, for placements that show high chances that you will meet your spouse online. So this is a possibility, definitely, that the first time they see you, it will be like they see you online, right? Or you see them online, or you meet online through a course, etc. Because the 3rd house and Mercury that showed up in your reading connect to a remote connection, right? So some kind of circumstance where the first time you connect, it is through communication, not face-to-face. 3rd house, however, can also connect to younger siblings, can also connect to neighborhood. I actually said this just as an example. I said this on my astrology channel. Jordan Peterson, for instance, I remember watching an interview with him, and he talked about how he first met his wife when they were kids, and she was his neighbor. And he has the Lord of the 7th house in the 3rd house. And for those of you who don't know, again, in astrology, there are these placements, one of which is the Lord of the 7th house, that you have to check to see circumstances surrounding how you meet your future spouse. So that is a possibility. Maybe this person is in your neighborhood, right? And that's how you meet. Then, like I said, there's the younger sibling connection. You can stretch it to mean siblings in general. So you could have met because of your younger sibling or their younger sibling. Maybe they're friends with the younger sibling, something like that, right? Or somehow the younger sibling is a link to how you meet this person. 3rd house can also show short distance or short-term travels, right? So running errands, including that, or it could be, you know, traveling over the weekend someplace, or taking a one-day trip someplace, right? Things like that could be how you meet this person or how they see you for the first time. And then the Pisces energy shows that, again, the Pisces energy, I have to say, considering the rest of the influences, feeds into this idea that you come across as very dreamy, you know, very dreamy, but also a little bit impractical. You know, I feel like this person really sees you as a kind of, like I said, kind of a Peter Pan, a bit of a dreamer. Now I'm getting I'm getting that song by Ozzy Osbourne. I'm just a dreamer, I dream my life away. May he rest in peace. Anyway, then the Saturn, which confirms the fact that this person sees you as, on the one hand, again, aloof. I think this is the third time, or is it the second time when I get this message? A little bit aloof, maybe a little bit shut down, right? Cold, professional. But the Saturn energy also shows that they see you as mature, okay? They see you as mature, whether that is, you know, physical, whether it's emotional, right? They could, I know it sounds like a dichotomy, right? Because I just talked about how you come across as a little bit Peter Pan-ish. But there are loads of people, I won't get too much into psychology, but, you know, because of things like traumas, because of whatnot, there are people who, you know, will have parts of their personalities, for instance, that are very mature and very grown up, and parts of their personalities that have been stunted when they were kids because of various traumas. So it could be something like that, where, I don't know, this person witnesses you interacting and they think, oh, how can this, you know, maybe they'll see you that one moment you'll be laughing at something silly, and the next moment you'll give some kind of philosophical speech on something. And that could be a thing, you know, they pick up the vibe that you're both mature in some ways and immature in others, maybe. Or, again, this could just be strictly physical. So Saturn is this energy of even a little bit of strictness, right? Someone who is, because, like I said, you did have that Justice card that came through. Saturn actually rules the law and the legal system. It's also called the Lord of Karma sometimes in astrology. So this person could also, I mean, in one word, can perceive you as critical, maybe a little bit judgmental sometimes, but at the very least, in general, they see you as someone who maybe is very focused on doing the right thing. You know, like you have a strong moral code, and you're focused on, you know, what is right, what is the right thing to do. And they see you as someone who's really responsible as well, I think. Reliable and responsible. And yeah, this is pretty much it. And also the number 3, there's one more thing. The third house, especially in Vedic astrology, connects to willpower and self-motivation. So I think this person sees you as very self-motivated, very driven to do your own thing, very independent. So independence is coming through multiple times. And with that Rahu energy, there's also this kind of brilliance about you. There's something, I feel like this person, they really like you in some ways, but in other ways, it's not like they don't like you, but you are kind of an enigma to them, you know, like there's something about you that keeps them curious, keeps them wanting to know more about you, you know. It makes me think of that line from Shrek where he talks about how ogres have layers, you know. And yeah, so they see you as someone who has layers that they want to peel off. And figure out who you really are deep down, you know. Yeah, this is pretty much what I have for you. Pile number 3. Very long reading. If you have listened to this whole thing, you deserve an award, some kind of a medal. Thank you so much. And I really hope you have enjoyed this. I definitely have. I really love the fact that all the 3 readings that I've done have had very specific messages. I don't know how accurate they're going to be. Like, again, these are general readings. Take them with a grain of salt. I always mention that. But I hope that you will have enjoyed it and you will make the most of this. And yeah, please let me know in the comment section, as usual, how you feel about this reading, what you like, what you didn't like, what you would have liked different, maybe. Anything you want to share, as long as you keep it polite. Aside from that, of course, if you would like to support my channel further, don't forget to like and subscribe to my channel. Like the video, subscribe to my channel, click on the notifications bell if you want to be notified when I upload a new reading. And if you would like to get a private tarot reading from me, check out the video description. I have left my email address there. You can email me for a pricing list, reading options, anything you're curious about. Aside from that, if you would like to have access to more content, you can click on the join button and become a member. If you click on the join button, you don't automatically become a member. Of course, you can just see the prices in your local currency, and you can see the videos I posted. You can also see the videos that I posted so far in my membership section by searching for membership or members only videos on my channel. So yeah, you can look into that. Of course, thank you so much to everyone who is a member already, and if you're interested, it would make a big difference for me. Aside from that, I also left a link in the video description to reviews. I have gotten 4 private tarot readings before, so if you're curious to see them, go ahead and check them out. Might help you decide if you want to get a reading from me. Aside from that, last but not least, I have an astrology channel, which I kept referencing. I'm sorry, but there were a lot of things that I think are relevant that would help you if you want to look into it more in depth. But yes, I have a channel. I will be linking it in the video description. It's called Astro-Martine, like I said. I focus mainly on Vedic astrology there, but also with some tropical insights. I have more than 10 years of experience in reading Vedic astrology style horoscopes, meaning I use sidereal zodiac coupled with the whole sign house system, which I have found to be the more accurate system. But before that, I was into tropical astrology for more than 10 years, and I also use a lot of the insights I have gathered over those years. I also sometimes use insights that I have gathered from other astrological systems, things like Batsa, Ziwe Doshu, the Mayan zodiac, and I sometimes also use numerology, of course, as I also use in my tarot readings, as you have noticed. But yeah, I mostly focus on Vedic astrology, and I like to use a lot of practical examples. That's why in my videos, in a lot of them, I use examples of famous people's horoscopes. I also have a playlist actually for relationship analyses for famous couples. I also have a playlist for the profiles of famous peoples where I look into, you know, the different horoscopes, not just their natal chart, but also divisional charts, and how it explained famous people's, you know, life trajectories and developments and talents and whatnot. So yeah, I have a lot of content there because that channel is more than 10 years old now, so over 300 videos. If you're curious about astrology, please subscribe to my astrology channel. I would greatly appreciate it. Thank you very much for listening, and I hope to see you at my next tarot reading.